The college football experience, week 10 college football reaction show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET is what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $100. Get a $100 free bet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience, week 10 reaction show. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
What a glorious Saturday. Just glorious watching all these games. A lot of fun.
We have three top fives go down today.
I don't follow the rankings. Is there three top fives? I saw three bullshit teams. No, I'm joking.
Alabama was 6, so top 6 go down.
Somehow they were 6. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh. Well, Buddy knows what's up. We got the greatest dog in the universe in studio with us.
We do. We have Muddy Waters in studio with us. He is a legend.
We're tapping the Rockies. Life is good, buddy.
I'm actually tapping the Japanese Rockies, I guess. Sapporo.
There you go.
Is that Osaka?
Konnichiwa there, buddy.
There we go. All right. Wow. I mean, we got a lot to talk about. I guess, the obvious one, Patty C. I want to go chronologically, but I feel like the obvious one that everyone's going to want to talk about is the LSU Tigers and good old Brian One Kelly. I mean,
Thank you. Well, this is a great way to get started, and I haven't even won all my games yet. It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family, and we are so excited to be in the great state of Louisiana, but more importantly,
what a great win.
To take down Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's all the winning that matters. He didn't win all of his games, but
in year one for Brian Kelly to take down Alabama, talk about ingratiating yourself to the good folks of Baton Rouge and the state of Louisiana in general.
Come on. I mean, this was we took LSU in the points. So we can't, moneyline play, I did not play. So, but I'll say I'm not surprised because
someone locked it. Who locked it, Cole?
Oh, there you go. Don't I have some music for you? I feel like I got some more music for you here. Just
rock me out.
Here, let's go.
I knew it was coming. Remix. Boom. Locks are rolling today. 6-3 on locks, by the way.
That was all right. I had a wooden record, but it wasn't an
all-time heater.
Well, I mean, yes and no. So obviously I locked up the JMU Dukes.
Hmm.
But I know we're not done talking Brian Kelly yet. But we're gonna get to the Dukes. You got a lot of nerve wearing that hat next to me, you piece of shit.
Look, thick and thin, buddy. Thick and thin.
Patty C, we've seen this though all year. So this is now the 4th road test, and in all of them, Alabama's looked vulnerable.
Yeah,
including the game they were up 28-0 to Arkansas, let Arkansas get all the way back in the game in the 4th quarter. I mean, LSU was up a lot of this game, so this wasn't a fluke. I understand the go for 2. You could say, oh, they went for 2.
Locked it up a little bit, 50-50.
Run that little pick play.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's funny how that gets called sometimes and doesn't get called other times.
I mean, didn't Notre Dame get didn't they use that against Florida State? The same exact play when Brian Kelly was at 2 years ago?
And Notre Dame got called for it, right?
No.
Wait. Well, I know Clemson used it against Alabama in the national championship game.
No. They beat Florida State on that in overtime, right?
I know someone actually got it called on them one time.
Maybe that was it. I don't remember.
No, I think that's what it was. The year that Clemson beat them in that hurricane, if I'm not mistaken.
Dude, recently, just the season opener last year, didn't Notre Dame use a pick play to beat Florida State?
Potentially.
Probably. I thought it was. It was an overtime game. Remember that?
Okay.
You were telling me Florida State's back?
Yeah.
I could have sworn
it happens
was.
a lot. I mean, that's the play to run on the goal line if they're not going to call it. I mean, and if they do, whatever, you get another chance. How do you kick the extra point? If you're down 1, run the fucking pick play at the goal line.
I mean, this game was awesome. It was a fucking great game, and that's at the end of the day, one headline where they said Tennessee, Georgia. That game was actually kind of boring.
Yeah. I mean,
Georgia dominated them.
Yeah, got out quick, and it was never close.
And
Tennessee dressed it up just enough. What was the final? 27-13?
Yeah.
They're going to say
kept it within 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Kept it within 2 touchdowns.
Respectable performance by Tennessee.
LSU, though, who I ridiculed for being number 10, and I still will. You know what I mean? Like, just because you won at home. I mean,
I think you're a little harsher on LSU, but 10 is too high.
10 is, dude, they have one-loss teams behind them.
Yeah. I mean, look, who has LSU lost to, though? Florida State, who's not that good.
And Tennessee.
Two good teams. Very
2 teams with a winning record.
Yeah. I think LSU is pretty good.
I do think they're getting better each week. That Florida, starting with that Florida game, where's my tide turn? Here, I'll just say this. Starting with that Florida game.
What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you.
So I mean, hats off to him. Look, Brian Kelly's a good coach. He's always been a good coach.
Yeah,
he's just been a little bit of an asshole.
An elite coach, though.
Well, it's a little unfair too. He was at Cincinnati.
I mean, you might be able to say he was an elite coach at Grand Valley. He was winning national championships.
That's what I'm saying. And then he was at Central Michigan, and then Cincinnati.
Took them to the New Year's Six. Cincinnati.
No. He didn't take Central Michigan.
He didn't. What did he do? What did he do? Didn't he go undefeated with them or something?
No. Stop it.
Let me see, Brian Kelly.
Don't offend me.
What did he do?
Look, everyone wants to say Saban and Kelly are these great fucking coaches. They are. But in action play, they didn't win no MAC championships. They didn't row that boat. All right. That's when you find out if you're a real coach.
No, he only went 9-4.
That's what I'm saying. You find out if you're a real coach in the MAC because your talent level is equal
the same as everyone else.
That's what I'm saying.
That's true. That is a proving ground, right?
Yes, it really is. It really is. Yeah. And Noah says, I want to hear. Shout out to the chat. Hop in the chat. Talk to us about your favorite games. But how about that Montana Cal Poly blowout in the snow in Missoula?
Colby was reminiscing on the snow. Southern California hasn't seen it in a while.
Well, there's just something pleasing about seeing a game in the snow. All the games are up on God's Eye, and I said, I want to watch that one.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand.
The aesthetics of a snow game.
You got to get that going. All right. More snow, longer playoffs, home games, and boom. Bigger playoff. Patty C. So Alabama 7-2. And like I said, each road game, they probably should have lost to Texas. Actually, they definitely should have lost to Texas. They should have beaten Arkansas, though. I think they were truly the better team that game. They actually, almost lost to A&M in Tuscaloosa, but I still think they were the better team that day. They were not the better team in Knoxville, and they were not the better team tonight in Baton Rouge. They have Ole Miss next week.
The second end of a back-to-back road. I mean, this is something, again, Something we hadn't seen much in the Saban era is a true road test. We saw that was trouble for them. The second end of a back-to-back road against a decent team here.
But they lost last year when they had 2 back-to-back away games.
That's true. So maybe we'll start to see a trend emerge for Alabama here.
Interesting.
Look, I think Alabama they're certainly not the team they were in previous Saban years. Is this a sign of things to come for Alabama? Is this we've said this is the end of the Saban era before, but I kind of want to look. I feel like they haven't lost 2 regular season games more than obviously they went 6-6 in his first year, but after that, I feel like it's only happened like 2 or 3 times. This being the second or third.
Yeah,
that's an anomaly almost in the Saban era, which it raises eyebrows, especially because they don't look really legit.
So wait, you're telling me that NIL starts happening, transfer portal starts happening, the talent level starts spreading out, and he's having a hard time winning games?
Interesting. When you don't have by far the most talented team on the field, all of a sudden,
when you're only one of 12 teams cheating,
hey, it's easy to look really good in those situations.
LSU, let's talk about them, because I said on last week's episode I thought Arkansas was better than LSU, and I look like a fucking idiot right now. I want you to hold that, because I want you to hold that till next Saturday, because I'm going to call for a special right now.
Yeah.
Arkansas just lost to the Flaming Libs of Hugh Strip Club Freeze and the Flaming Libs.
Yeah.
All right. They're going to beat LSU next week.
Where is that? I mean, it's in Fayetteville. There's a decent.
They're going to beat them. I see it now. Arkansas will win next week.
Credit to Arkansas this week for turning it on when they needed to. Talk about a sweat. That was the game we probably screamed at the TV most about today.
Yeah, it was very frustrating.
I mean, they methodically came back.
Interesting coaching tactics, I should say, there in that game, because he went for a 4th down where I thought he shouldn't have went for a 4th down.
Should have kicked the field goal.
And then he punted when I thought he should have went for it, and it almost cost him the game. But hey, he won. He's a millionaire. I'm a fucking idiot. So.
Sometimes you're too aggressive. Sometimes, he held on. He got the win on the road. What are they? 8-1 now.
Yeah.
Let me remind you who made that their number 1 lock on the preseason picks. Hello. Shout out to Terrell Furman as well.
Yeah, Terrell Furman Jr. called it on the money line this morning.
The man knows
on this very show.
The man knows what he's talking about.
Next up, so let's just go chronologically. All right. Because I got a million questions we want to go through. I'll tell you right now the current scores of games. USC is up 27-14 on the Cal Golden Bears at the Coliseum. San Jose State is up 14-10 on the Colorado State Rams. Arizona State is losing in Tempe. UCLA has a 35-18 lead in the mid-third. And Fresno's up 41-0 on Hawaii to start the 4th. I took
Hello, backdoor.
I took the 28 points. The backdoor is open, though. Come on. Let off the gas a little bit, Tedford. Let's just hop into it, Patty C. Earlier in the week, we should start off with these. All right. We had Maction, Buffalo. Well, we talked about these on the Wednesday show, so those are irrelevant. Let's go to Thursday. Rice beats UTEP 37-30. Right. That was a great game. It's a fucking great game to watch. Rice wins by 7. Rice is 1 win away from bowling.
What is they're 5 and
NC Nick
4
was
now?
all over the over here. I don't think I took the over.
Who?
Yeah.
Who is going to go bowling?
Yes.
The Rice Owls.
Well, I don't know. The remaining 3 games at Western Kentucky, home to UTSA, at North Texas. Probably going to go 5 and 7.
Western Kentucky hung how many today?
A lot.
They put up 59 today on Charlotte. So, yeah, you can count on them probably lighting up Rice as well. And then UTSA is going to get them. And North Texas
in
Denton, Texas.
Yeah.
How much did North Texas put up today? 52. So their defense is going to be tested for the last 3 weeks of the season.
We got Jake Paquin in the chat. Shout out to Jake. Then we have Appalachian State, Coastal Carolina, Patty C, the Shots.
A game NC Nick was at.
I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Is Jamie Chadwell the head coach of Coastal Carolina next year?
He shouldn't have been there. He should have been picked up 2 years ago. The fact that he was still their coach last year is unbelievable.
Okay, well, Eli Drinkwitz got a 2-year extension this morning. right?
Yeah.
So I think that's off the table, right? We simply have Auburn, Nebraska, Charlotte, which he would not take the Charlotte job.
Georgia Tech. That's where he's going.
Georgia Tech. That is an
because a
interesting
lot
one.
of his players apparently come from Georgia and Atlanta in particular.
Arizona State.
But Dan Mullen lives in
think,
Atlanta.
You think Arizona State would take a shot on him?
I think any team that needs a coach that isn't looking at him first in particular is an idiot.
Georgia Tech just hired the assistant athletic director of Alabama. So Bill O'Brien, I'm hearing, is the possible
for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, front runner.
Interesting.
I think it'd be terrible.
Yeah,
I think that would be.
Yeah, you're right. There's
but what do you make? Coastal's 8-1. They're in the driver's seat now because guess what happened today?
They keep finding a way to win.
And Georgia Southern lost today, so they were in the driver's seat.
And a choke fest.
Yeah, they were up that whole game. We will get to that one. Friday, we had Duke take down Boston College, and we should talk about that for a second because Mike Elko's got Duke 6-3. They probably should be 7-2 if you go back to that.
You fuckers got that line early at 6.5. I got it at 10. I still took Duke. They did not cover for me, but they did
why
cover
it jumped
for you.
up, right?
Why is that?
Jerkovic didn't play.
Got announced.
Yeah. So it jumped up.
Nick locked it. Congrats, Nick.
Patty C, Duke's remaining schedule. They're 6-3. Ready? Home to Virginia Tech.
7-3.
At Pitt.
Could be 8-3.
Home to Wake.
I'll say they lose one of the last two. Probably
so 8-4. First season.
Great first season. But if they get to 9-3, you got to.
How ridiculous is it that we're seeing Mike Elko do this with a team that didn't bring in any talent really in the portal, right?
Yeah.
So that same team from a year ago won 2 games.
Yeah.
Right. And got blown out of almost every game, like severely blown out. It was like almost Kansas bad, right?
Yeah, it's true. They were awful last year.
He takes that team and they look way better than there's 4 ACC coaches
you know what that
hired.
does?
There was 4 ACC coaches hired this past year.
Yeah.
Mario Cristobal, Tony Elliott, and Brent Pry, and then Mike Elko.
Yeah. He's clearly the cream of the crop of that class.
I just can't believe those other institutions didn't even look at him.
Maybe they did.
Like, why didn't Virginia Tech even? We knew this from the start. Now, I still thought the Pry hire might work out, and it still might.
I mean, there's something about getting a guy who is the right fit for the program.
I just knew Elko wherever he went
was a great coach.
I just thought
he went Notre Dame.
No, he started
Forest,
at Wake, and he had Wake at like the top 40 defense in America.
Wake, Notre Dame, A&M, 3 or 2 similar, I guess, programs, and then A&M, a kind of different program, but still successful at all 3. Being at Wake and Notre Dame were he was a cultural fit there too, but he could have. Tech is very similar to Texas A&M.
All these schools whiffed.
Yeah,
all these schools whiffed on Leipold, and they whiffed on Elko, and it's showing very fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're right. And you know what it does? It lends credibility to your idea that, and you don't necessarily always say this, but I think I'm gonna say this for you. You have to acknowledge, and you do acknowledge, that at the top of the recruiting rankings, those teams often win national championships. But you've said before, the difference between like number 10 and number 60 is not that big. And a coach like Elko taking a team like Duke, a gutter team last year, and making them top 25 level.
And Miami, I bet you would chart in the top 10 or 15 recruiting.
Talent-wise, yeah.
And another thing is, like, I still believe that is jaded. You can hear all these things, and I know 24/7 sports, they're a business just like anyone else. So they try to milk those things.
They want their recruiting rankings to like reflect the teams that are the most successful. And
I think recruiting is a little bit important. I don't think it's the main driving factor. People say, well, look at Alabama and Georgia, and I would argue that the scheduling I think is more.
I think it's vastly important, but I think the other things are also, I mean, when you get to that level,
I'm just saying, like, Hendon Hooker's was the preseason, or not the preseason, before today.
Yeah.
The leader to win the Heisman. He's a fucking 3-star recruit. And Virginia Tech was starting a fucking quarterback that can't even start at San Diego State over him.
Yeah.
That is sheer coaching.
Yeah.
Right. Well, someone didn't review his talent level then.
Right. That's what I'm saying is you got dudes that like jump off screen as like so much better than everyone else. And you're like, okay, that dude's important to get. Beyond that dude, there's a million dudes that are like high 3-star, low 4-star levels. That it's just about
That's what I'm
coaching
saying.
at that
Dude,
point.
they were talking about Ladd McConkey being a 3-star that no one really and I'm like, how the hell did he end up at Georgia?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think today you saw. I mean, Stetson Bennett is a guy that's a fucking walk-on.
Yeah.
I have shit on Stetson Bennett as much as I could. He made me look like a fool in the playoffs last year. The guy's a winner.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. But he was a 3-star, and he was.
He wasn't even a 3-star.
No,
he was a 0-star.
He was a 0-star. Wow.
And he won a national invitational championship. All right. I don't call it a national championship. There's never been a national champion until we get a large playoff. There's never been a national champion. But I mean, Grayson McCall, dude. I mean, you watch some of these guys today, or not even today, any Saturday, and you're sitting there saying,
if your coach is putting you in a position to win, you're going to look great. And if your coach is putting you in a position to lose, even if you are great, you're going to look like trash.
I mean, we can talk about Miami being in the top 10 or 15 every year preseason, or Texas, or, I mean, the elephant in the room this year. I think I saw something on Twitter. And this is me seeing it on Twitter, so I do not know how truly factual this is. But it was stating that A&M, based on recruiting rankings, should be the third best team this season.
Yeah.
A&M might not get more than 3 wins this season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So, I mean, and that's a guy that's won a national championship.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. It's not a coach with no coaching chops, but he's not coaching really well right now. Talk about the other game on Friday.
UConn 27, UMass 10.
Northeast football is back.
The guy's got to be mentioned for fucking coach of the year.
He's got to be. And you know what?
He's got to be. And if not, it's blasphemy, because he's doing an unbelievable job.
What is their record right now?
5-5.
5-5. They're going to go bowling in year 1, maybe.
Well, his remaining 2 games, Liberty this next week.
That's an L.
At the Wrench, though, I think that's going to be a game.
Hey,
you got Fresno at the Wrench.
No one goes in the Wrench without getting their nuts twisted.
Then he goes to West Point to take on Army.
That could be a loss too.
We'll see. It's going to be very interesting to watch them down the stretch. But he's doing an unbelievable job at UConn.
He's only got 2 games left?
Yeah.
Man. Okay. It's going to be tough. Yeah,
Dude,
I guess 5-5.
He's doing a great job. He
is.
Then we had Oregon State lose. Dude, they were up. I watched this game, most of it. And they didn't trail the entire game until 12 seconds left.
It's so Oregon State it hurts.
Their quarterback, Ben Goldbranson, go get the fuck out of the state of Oregon, he threw for a nice
87 yards.
Quality.
12 of 19, 87 yards.
Dude, I've told you this. And that sucks because I have the over on Oregon State at 6.5.
Yeah.
That would have been the one. They still have 3 games, though. Cal, Arizona State, and Oregon. I think they'll get there.
They're a good team.
Dude, they're a quarterback away. And I've said this before, so people are going to say, hey, he's talking about it again. They're quarterback away from being a top 10 team, in my opinion.
I agree. Dude, they should have beaten USC. They should have beaten Washington on the road.
If I'm them, I would be calling Hank Bachmeier. I'd be calling Jeff Sims. I would be calling all these people tampering because there's no fucking rules in college athletics.
There's literally 100 quarterbacks, 120 quarterbacks, probably more than that.
How about what team were you watching today? Liberty. Liberty's on like Liberty's played 5 different quarterbacks this year, and they're fucking 8-1.
Yeah.
I mean, can we get Hugh Freeze involved with the fucking space program? All right.
Come on. I mean, hey, here's the worst part. Liberty's 8-1. There's a decent chance they finish 11-1 here. And they are going to be playing in the Chimichanga Bowl against
it's a joke. The CFP don't even acknowledge them. They have Texas with 3 losses ahead of a 1-loss Liberty team who lost by going for 2.
Yeah, against Wake Forest, who's a good team.
Yeah, allegedly
was a good team.
Okay, then we get to this morning's action, and Air Force beats Army 13-7. I hope you listen to good old pick motherfucking Dundee, because I locked up the under 40. I also locked up Army +7. Oh! And you can take that to the bank, baby.
Cash money, baby.
Shout out to Lane Elliott in the chat and everybody. Noah says Josh Gaddis is a terrible offensive coordinator. I'll be honest, he won the Broyles Award or whatever the fuck it is for the offensive player or the offensive coach.
Oh, yeah.
Broyles?
I think, yeah.
I wasn't sold. I thought it was Jim Harbaugh. I was like, that's Jim Harbaugh. I saw that at Stanford. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Gaddis had a little influence on it, but basically Harbaugh had to wrestle back the reins and be like, no, we're going back to running the ball.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Patty C, Western Kentucky 59, Charlotte 7.
Western Kentucky can score. We thought with who's Texas Tech?
I took the under on Western Kentucky. I'm gonna eat shit on this one. I think. I can still actually. I believe it was 8.5. I can still get this.
What's
because they
their
play
record right now?
So they are 6-4. Right. They are home to Rice next week. Chippy team at Auburn. Cadillac will ride in any weather. Patty C.
Oh yeah.
And then at FAU, still possible. They need what? So they have 6. I think I can still hit this. I think, yeah. We'll see.
You bet the under?
Yeah.
On 8.5?
Yeah.
Western Kentucky we're talking about?
Yeah.
They have to go to Auburn?
Yeah.
They're gonna lose that game.
Watch out. You think Auburn's still got Bo Jackson back there in the
I think
backfield.
Auburn just
Joe
took
Cribbs.
Mississippi State to
James
the wire.
Brooks.
Yeah, the GOAT.
Western Kentucky's good though. What are let me
good.
see the standings in the CUSA. Can we see the standings in the CUSA?
Yeah, let me get that pulled.
I'm very interested because I know UTSA, by the way, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think today was a power day for my locks, my win total locks with UTSA getting that dub in a wild one. That was a fucking wild game against UAB there. They had a 14-point lead with like 3 minutes left.
That was a wild game.
And then UAB sent it to overtime.
Dude, how UTSA was the most predictable team this season. They just won the games that I thought they might lose. That's why I don't know if I locked the under on them, but I took the under on them.
And you argued with me.
I did argue.
No, I think you might have locked it.
I think that was our one lock battle in the preseason.
Well, buddy.
Well, let me see.
I'm not there yet, but 7-2 is 7-2. What's that remaining schedule?
CUSA. Let me get over to UTSA. It's a cakewalk. I'm pretty sure. It was. They have Louisiana Tech at Rice, could be dangerous, and then UTEP at home. They'll get there.
Oh yeah,
they'll get to 9.
They're gonna get to 10, I think.
Yeah, but here's what happened. I said they were going to lose their first 3. They beat Army in overtime,
but
and
they also should have beat Houston. They blew like a 21
triple overtime. Fair enough. No,
even to get to overtime.
I'll give them credit. I think they are good. But then the other game that I said after I thought they would start 0-3, I said it was going to be hard for them to win the rest of their games, even though I thought they were better than almost every team on there. But at UAB would be dangerous. Lo and behold, that one goes to overtime. They get the win there. Hey, they're exactly who we thought they were. They're slightly better than I thought they'd be. And credit to Traylor for that, Jeff Traylor. And credit to you for being on that.
Colorado. Maybe you give the guy a phone call. Just an idea.
Just a thought.
Just an idea. Just an idea. Patty C, Ohio State 21, Northwestern 7. Hold on. Wait, whoa. The reason why TCU was ranked 7th was they couldn't establish leads. We wanted to see a more solid ground attack and air attack. They were kind of one-sided. The defense didn't show up. The offense had games where, what the fuck is this? All right. So, you guess who's the only Power 5 that hasn't won a game in America? All right. Northwestern.
Yeah.
Guess who lost to Southern Illinois, who's like in the middle of the fucking Missouri Valley Conference?
Northwestern.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that was an atrocious first half. I'm sure the folks in the committee
they even give them the shittiest possible back-to-back away game, and they still almost I guess I don't think they almost lost. They were clearly the better team, but
sure, they found a way to get it done in the second half, but they did start really slow. I mean, and I'm not even going to shit on Ohio State fans. They clearly admitted, as far as I saw on Twitter, they're like, dude, this is not good. We're just not playing well. Do I think that's going to be a weekly thing for Ohio State? No, obviously they haven't done it, but they hit a tough back-to-back stretch.
We won't know the next 2 weeks, but we will know the third.
We will figure it out. Yeah. They have the comfortable confines of Columbus, Ohio, though, to play Michigan in. So we really won't get to know Ohio State until the playoff, and at that point, it's too late.
I mean that's where will they put TCU, you think the stupid invitational committee members that are all bought and paid for?
This week, I can't imagine they put them any lower than, 4? I want to look at the rankings real
I'm
quick.
sure they'll find a way. Say, well,
Yeah, Alabama lost close, so we'll put them up. No,
Alabama lost to a top 10 team.
Georgia will be 1. Ohio State will be 2. Michigan will be 3. TCU will be 4.
TCU should be ahead of Michigan.
Yeah, I mean their schedule's been way tougher. If the committee,
the Big 12, we talked about this in the studio today. The Big 12 is I don't care what anyone fucking says. It is the best conference in college football this year. It is the best.
Yeah.
SEC is second best. Third best, Big 10.
The Big 12 though would. I understand that they don't get in nearly as often as the other conferences, and that really hurts the perception of the league because you can't win the big games if you're not playing in them. But if they do get in, it would really help the perception if they would win at least one of them.
I don't give a shit about perception. All right, I give a shit about
the reality of the situation.
Yes.
Yes, they are playing a tougher schedule than Michigan is.
Let me ask you this: can we make a case, or is this silly talk? Do you think the Pac-12 could be better than the Big 10?
Convince me.
Well, you got Ohio State and Michigan at the top. Who's the third best team in the Big 10? Illinois? Because they lost today to Michigan State, who got housed by Washington in Seattle.
True. I would say that's a different Michigan State team slightly, but
what do you mean? They had 8 players suspended today.
True. It's true.
It's not
like
6
not
of
a
them,
good argument on my part.
6 of them were starters.
Okay, fair enough. Let me see who else in the Big 10 would be part of that conversation.
I'm just curious. Like, if you took UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Utah, because in your 5th best team would be Washington, your 6th would be Oregon State, and you pair them with the top 6.
I think you assume that Michigan and Ohio State are better than anyone in the Pac-12.
I don't know that I want to make that assumption with Michigan.
Maybe Oregon or USC is better than Michigan.
I even think Michigan did cancel the game against UCLA, so I will give UCLA a little bit of a leg up there.
Yeah.
I'm just not ready to say Michigan because they played Hawaii and a bunch of shitty teams out of conference.
Sure. I mean,
I don't think they've done anything.
They beat Maryland by 7.
I don't think they've done anything to deserve us to say they're flat out better than all of those teams.
I agree. I agree with you on that. I think Ohio State.
Ohio State, the Notre Dame win's looking a lot better.
Yeah.
So we have that, and then the win at Penn State is pretty.
And history tells us that based on the talent level that they have, that Ohio State is probably would be favored over.
So who do you think the best team is in the Pac-12? I mean, I know we're just splitting hairs here, but I'm saying, just gun to your head, the best team.
Neutral location right now, I take Oregon.
So it would be Oregon, Ohio State. We saw that last year. Oregon beat them in Columbus. Fuck you, with a horrible coach. All right. No, but obviously last year doesn't matter. But I think that's a good game, right?
Yeah.
I would slightly favor
Ohio State. Utah was a good game last year.
Yeah.
Ohio State's not leaps and bounds better than the upper echelon of the Pac-12. Clearly, we know that. I don't know that Ohio State's as good as they were.
Dude,
last year.
I'm telling you right now, if you gave me USC and Michigan,
I might take USC.
I think I'd take USC.
Yeah.
At number 3, we got to remember USC. Look, I hate USC. Yeah. I like Jim Harbaugh to beat USC every time they've ever fucking played. All right. But I hate USC. But at the same time, they lost on a 2-point conversion. All right. At one of the hardest places to win in America.
Yeah.
All right. So
Penn State, what about?
So Penn State's the 3rd best team, you think?
Penn State, Illinois. Who do you go?
I'd probably go Penn State.
Okay.
So Penn State against UCLA. I'll take UCLA.
Yeah, I think so too. DTR is dynamic.
So, because UCLA beat Utah, so I would have Utah ranked 4th. So then you have Illinois, Utah. Who would you take?
Or do you put Illinois over Wisconsin? Did they beat them straight up?
Yeah, they whooped them.
They
wasn't even close. Yeah.
Utah and Illinois. I'm taking Utah
all day.
Easy.
I'd lay like 11.
Yeah.
So we just went through the top and
maybe like 9, but yeah, a high number.
But I'm just saying we just went through and we said we take 3 Pac-12 teams over.
Yeah. It's true.
And then it gets interesting because if your 5th best team is Wisconsin, the 5th best team in the Pac-12 is Washington. I don't know. I mean, Washington did put it on Michigan State. Michigan State beat Wisconsin. I know that, like, if you do this, it can all get stupid. But I'm saying, like, I think that's a game.
Who's that? Wisconsin and who?
And Washington.
And Washington. That is a game. I don't know who I'd take there. Yeah.
And then who's your 6th best team? Would it be fucking Purdue? Iowa, Maryland,
Purdue, Iowa. I would take Iowa over those teams.
So then Iowa, Oregon State. Who would you take?
Oregon State.
I would take Oregon State too.
That's a great point. So we might have Ohio State better.
And I'll take Colorado to beat Northwestern.
Well, yeah. Not that big of a stretch there. But after today,
that's
maybe.
a close game, though.
Yeah.
That's a close game.
Let me say this, though. Is the O on the back end of their record the thing that's really elevating the likes of Michigan and Ohio State over the Pac-12? The Pac-12 upper crust, Oregon's lost to Georgia, right?
Yes.
On the road, essentially. USC lost to Utah on the road.
Utah lost to Florida on the road.
Utah lost to Florida on the road. And
But
UCLA lost
if
to
Utah just scheduled like Michigan, they would have played Southern Utah, the Thunderbirds, and then they would have taken on, Hawaii and Nevada, and they'd be undefeated right now, and we'd have number 2 in the fucking nation. So we're not rewarding teams that schedule fucking aggressively.
And that's whose conference schedules tough road games. What was it? UCLA lost to Oregon on the road.
Yeah. Oh, how about this though? How about this? Washington State beat Wisconsin in Madison, and Washington State's like the 7th or 8th best team in the Pac-12.
That's true,
dude. I'm gonna go ahead and say the Pac-12 is better than the Big Ten.
I think you have convinced me.
Yeah, I think you go 1 Big 12, 2 SEC, 3 Pac-12, 4 Big 10, 5 Sun Belt, 6 AAC,
7 ACC,
7 ACC, maybe. Could UTSA beat Clemson? I think that's a game. CUSA against ACC? How fucking bad is the ACC,
ACC
dude?
is bad, man.
Oink Oink says Oregon State would lose to Iowa 9-0 with 6 turnovers. I think Oregon State would beat Iowa this year. Now, I'll say if it was in Iowa City, I would take Iowa, but on a neutral site, I would take
the
Oregon
reason
State
is because Oregon State actually has a dynamic run game.
Oregon State's got a good defense.
Yeah, they both have good defenses, but Oregon State's offense, while not that,
but that lawn chair, like Petrus,
they both have lawn
Petrus
chairs.
is a lawn chair that doesn't throw as many interceptions. Oregon State's lawn chair might give Iowa 3 touchdowns.
That's true. He is terrible. The happy feet.
Next up, Patty C. Florida 41, Texas A&M 24.
Jimbo.
Hold on. Can we talk about this? Let's talk about this for a second. A&M is 3-6 with the 3rd best composite in America.
Composite recruiting rankings or composite talent ranking?
Talent ranking that I saw.
Yeah.
I'm not backing this up. This is a tweet. So
it's probably, I mean, it sounds about right.
Patty C, can I ask you, A&M heads to Auburn next week. Who's winning?
That's a tough one.
I'm taking Auburn, man.
Took an L to Florida. Florida's decent. They're not good. They're not great, but they're solid. And they got shellacked though. That game was in
College Station.
In College Station, they just got rolled by Florida.
Yeah.
I'm taking Auburn. I'm taking
Auburn too. Then they got the JFK Bowl as UMass comes into College Station. That might be a game.
Clap.
That might be a game. No, there's no way that's a game. Then they have LSU. This team is not. They're gonna win 4. They're gonna go 4-8 at best, 5-7.
That's a terrible year. Terrible year for A&M. Go put on some overalls and march around with your tiki torches and I don't know, creep everyone out.
North Carolina 31, Virginia 28. If you took North Carolina like us, -7, this was one of the most brutal beats. This is
man, this was tough. North Carolina, to their credit, has the best onside
kick unit I've ever seen, right?
They're going for a touchdown if you go onside against it. But except this time,
because of the App game.
He got down to the 25-yard line and took a knee because App State scored 10 points or 4. How many did App score? Like 10 points and
something crazy. I don't know.
Or maybe
they
it was
scored 42 in the 4th. So I mean, But then they even got penalties down to the 1
yard line, and they took the knee.
And look, Virginia got 2 personal fouls the plays prior.
Yeah.
And if it was me and Mack Brown, I would have been like, "Hey, fuck you. Let's run this in."
Dude, that was a bad look for Virginia. But I get it. You want to get chippy, whatever. But like, the game is over, and you're still on back-to-back plays getting personal fouls. That said, Tony Bennett, whether you like to admit it or not,
Tony
Elliott. Sorry, close enough. It's a similar name.
No, one's a good coach, one sucks ass.
Okay,
right?
Tony Elliott, I should say, improving a little bit.
No, That's just North Carolina. That's just North Carolina.
Fair enough. North Carolina has struggled in Charlottesville.
Patty C. Tulane 27, Tulsa 13. They avoid the letdown spot. I'm glad NC Nick swayed me. I was about to take Tulsa, and then NC Nick swayed me to Tulane. So shout out to NC Nick.
I think I took Tulsa in that one like an idiot.
Tulane is 8-1.
Dude.
8-1.
I will say we have to talk about this game, but I would say if it had Kansas State held out and gotten a spot in the Big 12 championship game, which may still be alive.
Oh, I think it's still very much alive.
Yeah. Then Tulane has to be in consideration for a top 10 spot at that point. You know, that's probably not good enough for the playoff, obviously, but they would be the favorite coming out of the ACC for the New Year's Six bid if they can win out. Certainly. You would think?
Yeah.
I mean, who else is even in contention for
I
that?
got no idea.
And it doesn't matter at all. No, it doesn't.
I never pay attention.
Colby is disgusted by the very concept of
a bowl game.
Yeah.
Yes.
An 11 or 12-1 conference champion going to an irrelevant consolation
playing in
game.
some fucking stupid dome and fucking.
I admire you for your committed disgust to that. But for those of you that
Michael Pratt would probably sit out.
Yeah. That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
God,
we'll end up watching the third string quarterback at Tulane against the second string quarterback at fucking Oklahoma State or something.
Yeah. Yay.
And then we can hit the message boards and talk shit. Told you they were better. Patty C, Tulane's remaining schedule. And by the way, let me pull up that AAC race because that is going to be fantastic down the stretch. This Friday, my East Carolina Pirates play in Nippert.
What do you think is going to happen there?
I think we can win that game. I'm not sold on Cincinnati being that good this year.
And you got that athlete. What's his name? That little running
Mitchell.
Keaton Mitchell. Waterbug.
So right now, Tulane's undefeated in the AAC.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. This is awesome. So SMU beat Houston today. So right now, the pecking order is Tulane undefeated. UCF is 4-1. Cincinnati's 4-1, but UCF has the tiebreaker over Cincinnati.
Yeah.
SMU is 3-2, but guess what? They play Tulane in 2 weeks, right?
Okay.
East Carolina's 3-2. They have the tiebreaker on UCF, and they play Cincinnati and Houston, who is still alive as well, even though they lost today.
Now I'm curious to look at what UCF's remaining schedule is.
UCF's remaining schedule, well, it's South Florida, I believe. So it's at Tulane next week, then home to Navy,
humongous.
Then at South Florida.
That game next week is for a spot in the AAC championship.
Not necessarily.
No?
Not necessarily. Because if East Carolina beats Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
And UCF was to drop one to either Navy or South Florida, which probably won't happen to South Florida, but I think Navy could.
If UCF drops to one of those two, yes. But assuming they don't, then UCF would have the tiebreaker on Cincinnati and on Tulane.
Yes.
And they'd basically be in. So I would say next week is 75% chance that game determines a spot in the AAC championship game.
Well, and it could be a situation where if ECU beats Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
Then the winner of the ECU Houston game on the final week of the season, right? If assuming Houston would win the next game, would be to get in the AAC championship. Now, here's what's interesting is if UCF, knowing that they were already in the AAC championship, did not play their starters.
Against who? Against
South Florida? They would, right? Because it's their rival, right?
They probably would, but how would they have booked their ticket? Oh, because the UCF is the one that has no room for error. They can't.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Tulane, if they beat UCF, even if they lose to Cincy, they're probably still going. So
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a big game, but there are probably all 6 of those teams very much alive, depending on how those.
And they all play each other the final weeks.
Yeah.
That's what's fantastic about this is you got SMU dropped like a hundo on Houston today, so SMU will have the tiebreaker on Houston, but SMU's remaining schedule at South Florida next week, at Tulane, and home to Memphis. Memphis could play spoiler down the stretch here if the things break right for the Stags.
Let me ask you this: What % of casual fans are paying attention to this?
None.
And
guess what?
In a larger playoff.
Yes. If we had automatic qualifiers, do you know how fucking awesome this would be? Just an idea.
Yeah, it would be lit.
Call me a lunatic. Call me a lunatic. No, they can't beat the Power 5. Kidding me? There's no way Tulane could win in Kansas State.
Right. There's no way Kansas State could beat Oklahoma.
That's what I'm saying. Kidding me? Kidding me?
No way Kansas State could beat Oklahoma State by 48.
Next up, Patty C. Maryland 10, Wisconsin 23. I hope you listened to me. This was easy. In the rain, football weather, baby. Jim Leonard is doing it. And we need to do a segment right now.
I actually did listen to you. I tailed you on that, and that catch for me as well.
There you go. Patty C. All right, he hit it. All right. Let's go, baby. The Big Ten West is amazing. Yeah.
Define amazing.
Well, this is what's great. This is what's great. And this is me maybe just being the asshole that I am, Patty C.
Yeah.
Everyone.
No argument. No
I
argument.
saw people saying, oh, Kirk Ferentz has got to step down, right?
Yeah.
It's got to, well, Iowa went on the road to Purdue today and beat the tar out of them, right?
They did.
So the Big Ten race right now in the West, fucking great. You have Illinois at 4-2. Both their losses were to the Big Ten East in Indiana and Michigan State, right?
Yeah.
So they would have some tiebreakers. But you have Wisconsin at 3-3. Wisconsin beat Purdue. They have the tiebreaker there. But Iowa is also 3-3, and they beat Purdue. They have not played Wisconsin yet, right?
Well, Iowa has, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Nebraska.
Well, then you have Minnesota, who's 3-3 as well. This is awesome. This is very awesome.
There's a lot of carnage here that's going to happen.
My thing is, I see a path for my Iowa Hawkeyes to get to the Big Ten championship.
Are we potentially looking at the first
lawn chair special
6-way tie for the Big Ten West?
Dude, Iowa hosts Wisconsin. This is definitely going to be a 13-10 game. You got lawn chair Mertz against lawn chair Petrus. It's going to be a garage sale, and I can't wait for it. That's a huge game, Patty C. And also, Purdue still plays Illinois. You could be looking at a great scenario here. All those teams are alive. My ticket for Iowa, my ticket for Minnesota to win the Big Ten West, still alive, baby.
Look, if you like high school football, which a lot of you do, if you like high school football from the 90s and the 80s, then go watch Iowa versus Wisconsin next week. And you're going to see, offenses with quarterbacks who don't throw for more than 100 yards. It's going to be great.
I couldn't help but think watching that Ohio State Northwestern game that was in the wind and a little bit of rain. And I thought, this is why the Big Ten championship should be played outdoors.
Yeah. But again,
let's cater to the one team that is fast as shit on
goes down to Florida to get their athletes. Yeah.
Oh, it's everything that the Big Ten has these guys. Watch Wisconsin, Maryland in the rain. Yeah. This is like, and I know a lot of other people. They should play at Lambeau and Soldier. Just go back to back each year.
Let's reward the team that gets all their talent from nationally out of state, and not reward the teams that that go local.
Yeah, that are the real heart and soul of the Big Ten.
That's right.
All right,
that's right.
That race is gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be absolutely fucking fantastic. Get that game out of that filthy fucking roller rink in Indianapolis. All right.
Right now, I asked you this pre-episode. I want you to share it with the people. Michigan, Ohio State. You said you're taking the home field advantage.
Of course. I mean, I feel like it's pretty prevalent.
Yeah. In that game in particular, with them kind of looking very similar in terms of abilities.
I mean,
I don't know that I agree that Ohio State is even a hair better than Michigan on a neutral site. I think that's the general assessment.
They just gave us a better sample size.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Now,
here.
Michigan didn't look great for a couple quarters against Rutgers, but Rutgers is better than Northwestern considerably.
Oh, yeah.
And Michigan ended up blowing the doors off of them.
Yeah.
So I think those are two very evenly matched teams. I actually think Michigan's going to get it done on the road, but I have zero confidence in that. We'll see.
I mean, I don't know. I think Ohio State's going to beat them. Next up, Texas Tech 24, TCU 34. Patty C. TCU storms back. I think they were down, I don't know, 7, something like that at one point.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, the committee says they want game control, but maybe you pay attention to the fact this team performs well in the second half. Maybe you reward the fact that they can make adjustments, unlike my JMU Dukes.
Or maybe you reward the fact they played 2 more fucking away games than everyone else in front of them.
True.
The fuck. Patty C. They are at Texas next week. Texas. Tough.
Texas.
Now, the Big 12 race, highly entertaining right now. So right now it would be TCU, Texas in the Big 12 championship. But the problem is someone's going to lose that game. And if it is Texas,
they're out.
Well, not only are they out, then they would have 3 losses and they would have it would just get really crazy. I kind of think, I called for Baylor, Kansas State preseason.
Both very much alive.
But I guess, what's crazy is TCU really could lose the next 2 weeks. They're back-to-back away games at Texas, at Baylor. And don't sleep. I'm telling you, the game that's dangerous, Iowa State's defense. Remember what they did to Kansas? Remember what they did to Texas? I think Iowa State's defense is really good. That's the final game of the year. They get Iowa State.
TCU's not running the table. They are not running the table.
Dude, those 3 games right there are tougher than fucking Clemson's whole schedule. It's fucking ridiculous. Get out of here with this shit.
TCU, the back-to-back road against Texas and Baylor, at best in by itself would be probably like 51% in either of those games. But the Baylor game on the second night of the back-to-back, especially taking a body blow from Texas, they're going to lose one of those 2. Yeah. They are going to lose one of those 2.
Kentucky 21, Missouri 17. Did you see how this game was? Did you see the roughing the punter in this?
I did not. I did not watch it. I don't think any of this game. Sorry.
So a snap goes over the punter's head.
Yeah.
In a critical spot for Missouri to get the ball back and go and win.
Yeah.
Goes way over his head. He goes and gets it. And he gets the punt off as he's getting blasted. Because he got the punt off and it was not blocked, it was roughing the punter. And he got injured and taken out of the game.
Oof. Missouri's punter, this is.
No, Kentucky's because Missouri was going to get it back. This decided the outcome of the game.
Oh, so they got automatic first down?
Yeah.
Brutal.
So it's like if they just snapped it normal.
Yeah, they get the ball.
Yeah, and they have a chance to win.
Yeah. Instead, it messes up at the perfect level.
Oh, Stoops. And
didn't get it blocked
yet
at all.
Stoops gets closer to his contract where he gets like an extra $5 million. Greatest contract in sports besides Bobby Bonilla. What, Patty C? They extended Drinkowitz. He's 4-5, right? He's at Tennessee next week.
That's an L.
4-6. Then they get the SEC rival New Mexico State coming to town.
Well, if Missouri could give Alabama that much, or Georgia rather, that much trouble, they might be able to give Tennessee that much. Well,
maybe
trouble.
If it was in Columbia, but in Knoxville now.
Probably not.
No. And then they're home to Arkansas. They can still get to a bowl, but they got to win 2 of 3.
What was this? What was the one after Tennessee?
The SEC matchup against New Mexico State.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
The annual
conference.
Next year, I think it's weird. They never go to Las Cruces.
Yeah.
You would think,
it's
since
not
you
like
invite them in
one.
your conference,
that
you would do like a home, I feel like every other year you would get to play in Las Cruces, but not the case.
A 20 for 0 setup.
Not the case. And then Arkansas. So they gotta go 2-1. It's possible. I couldn't believe I woke up this morning and saw the extended Drinkowitz 2 years. I don't know.
That was this morning?
Yeah.
Lowered expectations.
Georgia Tech 28, Virginia Tech 27. Oh, man.
Gobble, gobble.
I mean, it's going to be an interesting Monday in the office with Ryan Real Money Kramer. Actually, Virginia Tech basketball plays that day. I know his angle. He's going to say we're a basketball school.
Which they are now.
They are. Mike Young's doing a fantastic job. Remember, folks, subscribe to the College Basketball Experience tomorrow night. Yes, that was Sunday night.
Do we have any ad reads to do, by the way?
Sunday night, I will be doing the College Basketball Experience. We will go through every single game, ATS. You will give our locks, our best matchups for Monday when we have it's like 130 games on Monday. Fuck yeah. All right, folks, I want to tell you. Yeah, Monday, I want to tell you that the College Football Experience is brought to you by WinBet. Yes. WinBet is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. And from boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WinBet is what you need to win. Sign up today. Bet $100. Get a $100 free bet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. All right, we are back on the College Football Experience Week 10 reaction show. Patty C, we were talking Georgia Tech 28, Virginia Tech 27, and all of a sudden I see a path. No, you know what? They needed to beat Virginia, and they didn't do it. Had they done that, I thought Georgia Tech was going to get bowling.
They're terrible. Colby's sitting here trying to convince me that Georgia Tech is a decent squad.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. You're just convincing me that Virginia and Virginia Tech are worse than them.
Well, we just saw that today.
They are.
They were on their third-string fucking quarterback, and they just won in Blacksburg.
They're terrible, but you might be right. I mean, obviously going to Blacksburg.
They beat Duke. They beat Pitt.
They lost at home to Virginia.
They beat Duke and Pitt, though. All right?
They're remaining. All right, next week against Miami. Are they going to get that done?
Yes,
hosting Miami.
They are.
What a terrible for these two programs. Let's go back.
They got national championships in our lifetime.
Yeah.
I remember watching Sean Jones win a national championship at Georgia Tech. I remember watching Ken Dorsey. I see him throwing his fucking playbook in Buffalo all the time. I seen who was it in the early 90s? Frank Costa or fucking Craig Erickson. I don't remember, but Miami's won a lot of national championships.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech's won a national championship in my lifetime, and I remember watching it.
I've seen Virginia Tech in the national championship. The ACC is so far from what they imagined it would be in 2003 or 4, whenever the conference
it's
poached the Big East.
They honestly have like 6 of the worst. Let's talk about this. Because look, you go one by one in the Power 5.
How is this even possible? Florida State, Miami, Virginia Tech, Georgia
Florida State's
Tech.
all right. Florida State's pretty good.
They
actually.
suck.
Yeah. They're going to be in a bowl team.
Okay.
I'm
this
saying
is a team that finished in the top 4 14 straight years. Now we're talking about them going bowling.
I want to know your power rankings on the worst schools in the nation in the Power 5.
Okay.
Northwestern or Virginia? Who's better, Patty C?
Virginia.
Northwestern
or Boston College?
Or Boston College.
That's tough. I like Hull as a running back. I'm going to go Northwestern there.
To win that one.
Yeah. But Boston College beat Louisville. I don't know, man. That's the bottom. Those two are at the bottom. Let's see if we can find anyone lower.
Colorado is on that level.
Yeah, they're on the same level.
I think Colorado's better than Northwestern.
Okay. Maybe.
I do think BC might be able to beat Colorado. It depends if Jerkovic's healthy.
What about Indiana?
Indiana sucks, but I think Indiana. My question is where is Virginia, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, and Miami? Because I think they're in that mix.
They're all bottom 10.
Yeah.
They're all bottom 10.
If you go bottom 10 Power 5.
Stanford.
No, Stanford's better than them.
Stanford's better.
Stanford has some players. They won at Notre Dame. What is the best win that Miami has? At UVA in fucking 6 overtimes?
Miami? Yeah, probably.
That's their best win, right?
Yeah.
What is Georgia Tech's best? Georgia Tech actually is the best of the shitty teams in the ACC because they've beaten Pitt and Duke.
That's true. They have a better resume than Virginia does.
And Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
And they just beat Virginia Tech. So I actually think it goes like this. Your bottom Power 5 programs. I think BC is probably the worst.
Yeah.
BC and Northwestern are the top 2 worst, but Colorado's right there.
What about Vandy?
I think Vandy's better than those, right?
Okay.
But not by much. Like Vandy, Virginia, they play. I think I lean Virginia.
Yeah.
I think it's close, though. I think it's like a field goal game.
I think Virginia's a little better than you think they are.
I disagree. Let me ask you this. If Vandy plays Virginia Tech.
They both suck, but I'm taking Tech. Vandy, I'm not. Who has Vandy beat? Who has Vandy beaten?
They won at Hawaii.
Okay.
At Northern Illinois.
Okay.
They almost beat Missouri with 17-14.
Don't try and sell me this bucket of shit.
Who was Virginia Tech beat? They lost to Old Dominion. Old Dominion's 3-6 in the Sun Belt.
Hawaii, Elon, and Northern Illinois.
Elon's ranked in the top 25 in the FCS, my friend.
They lost by 50 to almost every team they've ever played. Their 11-point loss against South Carolina, probably respectable.
I think they're better than Virginia Tech.
They might be. Meanwhile, speaking of South Carolina, sitting here at 6-3, you are.
Hold on.
Okay,
We're talking our worst teams.
Okay.
We'll get to them.
Okay.
Miami. If Miami played Vanderbilt, are you taking Miami?
Yes.
I'm not.
Although I will say today,
I'm not.
I was absolutely appalled by Mario Cristobal's coaching. He's got Tyler Van Dyke out there with a bum arm who's wincing and like rolling around after every play, trying to throw a pass, throwing ducks all over the field. Then he puts in the Wildcat quarterback. Meanwhile, he's got a 5-star Jake Garcia on the bench who he will not put in the game. Van Dyke comes off the field to like nurse his arm. They put in the Wildcat. Who do they send back out? Van Dyke. It's like, you are the stupidest fucking coach I've ever seen.
I warned you.
Yeah.
Are you starting to finally get on my side?
I'm convinced after today it was pathetic.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Miami against Colorado. Who are you taking?
Miami against Colorado. I might take Colorado. I don't know. I haven't watched enough of Colorado.
All right. Let's go to the tier that's right there. Missouri, Miami.
Missouri.
Indiana, Miami.
I don't know.
I'm taking Indiana. I think Indiana's better.
They beat Illinois.
Rutgers
easily. Rutgers is a tier above
Nebraska, Miami.
Nebraska.
I think you're right.
Nebraska's been kind of competitive.
I think your bottom. I think your worst 6 teams.
Nebraska should have beaten Minnesota.
Your worst Power 6 teams. Northwestern, Boston College, Colorado, Vandy, Virginia Tech.
They're all bad.
Miami is the 7th worst team in the Power 5, I think.
It's pathetic. It's a sad day.
And then the question is, where do you put Georgia Tech? Are they 8th, or do you put, if Georgia Tech played Missouri, if Georgia Tech played Arizona State? I think Arizona State would beat Georgia Tech. I think Missouri would beat Georgia Tech
over. I don't know though. Missouri's close losses are almost as convincing as Georgia Tech's wins over Duke and Pitt.
What about Stanford, Georgia Tech, or Stanford, Miami?
Stanford, maybe. I think
I'd take Stanford.
No, Miami's terrible. Miami got steam. What was the final score? 45-3 against Florida State. Oh my God.
Duquesne scored more points than them when they played Florida State.
God, the wheels have fallen off. They just paid this guy what, like $100 million?
Noah's making the case for Arizona. See, Arizona's defense sucks, but Arizona's offense is actually legit.
Yeah.
I actually think Arizona would fuck them up.
Yeah.
I would lay like a solid 15 with Arizona.
Arizona hasn't been doing as well as they were at the beginning of the season, but
they passed the eye test on offense, dude. They have like a legit good offense.
Yeah.
Their defense sucks. I think Arizona's better than Arizona State.
I'm not selling on Arizona just yet. They beat Colorado today. They lost by 1 at Stanford last week. They beat Washington 3 weeks ago. They're okay. They're not good.
But they're still better than Miami. Like if they played tomorrow, I think I would take them. Like Miami has shown me nothing this season. Yeah. When your best win is a 6 overtime win against UVA.
Yeah. Miami is something's very, very wrong there. The mojo is not there. That is a front runner school, a front runner fan base, and things aren't going well. What does this team do? They shut it down. That was the other thing that stood out on film today. Their tackling was terrible. Their toughness was terrible.
Yeah.
They just weren't like.
I tried to warn you.
Their
I was
spirits
watching
are
them
broken.
a couple weeks ago, and I was like, the Duke game specifically.
Yeah.
But I saw it even before that, and I just thought, this team sucks. This team really sucks.
Is he going to be able to? I mean, yet.
And what's their recruiting composite? They're like probably number 9 in the nation.
It's true. Although that wasn't Cristobal's doing. He's got the talent.
Dude, they still brought in like 30 fucking transfers this year that were supposed to be good.
They got a 5-star that signed this week, right? And they got a 5-star on deck that's a Miami lean, according to 24/7. So the recruiting apparently is either completely wrong or they completely botch it every time.
No. I guarantee you put Mike Elko in Miami. He has this team fucking sitting there with 1 loss right now.
Well, look at Mark Richt. Yeah. Mark Richt with compared to that Randy Shannon, Al Golden, all those other dudes that couldn't do shit with it. Can't drive the Ferrari. Okay,
dude. So look, they
need to get like a scumbag. They need Urban Meyer.
These are the guys they got. They got linebacker Caleb Johnson from UCLA in the portal. Daryl Jackson from Maryland on the defensive line. Offensive lineman Jonathan Dennis comes over from Oregon, follows Cristobal, right?
Yeah.
So part of a fucking good team in Oregon that went to the whatever. West Virginia defensive lineman, 4-star, by the way, Akeem Mesidor comes over. West Virginia corner who was highly touted in the portal. I remember his name, Daryl Porter, because it was a great get for Miami. Comes over in the portal. Defensive lineman Mitchell Agude from UCLA, who was great on that team last year, and they were shocked to lose him to Miami, right? Then you go through, offensive lineman Logan Sagapulu from Oregon, follows Cristobal. Ole Miss running back Henry Parrish, who played decent at Ole Miss, comes over to Miami. UAB's best defensive player last year, Antonio Moultrie, and I did the UAB pod. They'll talk about how great that guy was. They were devastated when he left for Miami. He comes over. Defensive lineman Jake Lichtenstein from USC comes over. Clemson's wide receiver Frank Ladson started a lot of games at Clemson. Comes over. Boom. You go through the ranks, man. They went out and were aggressive in the portal. They have talent. You cannot tell me this team does not have fucking talent.
Yeah. Well, you have said it many times before, and it is looking good for you right now. That Cristobal, he may be a recruiter, he may be able to acquire talent, but through the portal, whatever means. But during the game and in the preparation for the game, not a great on-field coach. It is showing up big time in the their big wins so far. Bethune-Cookman, Southern Miss, Virginia Tech, and Virginia in 4 overtimes.
Southern Miss was on their backup quarterback. If they play right now, I'm taking Southern Miss. They were very lucky to get Southern Miss then.
They have a road trip to Georgia Tech, road trip to Clemson, and Pitt. We're looking at a potential 4-8 season here for Cristobal in year 1. Let me ask you this. 2 things. Can he turn around this program? 1. And then 2, is there ever going to be a point where Miami loses its cachet and, they can't get these guys anymore?
Well, they play way away from campus. No one goes to those fucking games. Today was the first sellout since 2018, and even that's because Florida State fans are coming to town.
Yeah.
It's people people always talk shit about UCLA and USC crowds or Stanford crowds.
Yeah.
Miami deserves to be thrown right in
it's
that
the
fucking
same
mix.
Thing.
Yeah.
You don't have you're in a big populous city, with a lot going on, and you don't have a stadium on campus. It's the same thing. But UCLA and Miami are mirror images on that level. You're right.
The chat's saying Bougro says Miami hasn't scored a touchdown since they played Duke. That's like a couple games ago.
Now I want to look at this. Jeez, you're right. What'd they get? How'd they even get that? They had 2 field goals in regulation.
And then the overtimes you go for 2.
And they got what? 4 conversions in overtime? 4 2-point conversions. And
there was one overtime there where both teams didn't score.
Okay, so I don't know how they got it then.
But. Marshall 12, Old Dominion's nothing, zip, nada. That Virginia Tech loss, by the way, can I talk to you about your boy Ricky Ronnie? He's 3-6 right now. ODU, life in the new Sun Belt, a little different than in the CUSA.
It got a little tougher there for him, didn't it?
12-0. They didn't even get a fucking field goal. They were at home in Norfolk.
Yeah, I don't even think that means that ODU's a bad team. I think that it just means the Sun Belt is a grinder and someone's got to lose some of these games.
And are you seeing the score right now? Oh! Are you seeing this?
Oh, Arizona State. Oh, that was the 2-pointer.
That was a 2-pointer.
So they are within 6.
I mean, this is what I mean, though. Arizona State. See, look, I know Colorado sucks, right? But Colorado did play 11 Power 5s and Air Force, who's probably going to be like a 9-win team this year, right?
Yeah.
The floor is not as bad at like Arizona and Arizona State are I don't want to say good, but they're not. They're like Missouri.
Yeah.
Or even like South Carolina.
Let me say this: Arizona State 3-5 versus a 6-3 South Carolina. Who are you taking?
Oh, that's a game. I think I kind of lean Arizona State. Right. I think I lean Arizona State.
There's your point.
Yeah.
There's your fucking point.
South Florida 28, Temple 54. I would love to know if Temple scored 54 points on the whole season last year.
That's true.
And Stan Drayton, he's been impressing me, man.
Wait, who's their quarterback again?
E.J. Warner, son of Kurt Warner.
Doing it. Got the legendary blood flowing there.
Dude, they hit the over. I was wrong because I didn't know what this hire was. I've actually been impressed with him.
What's Temple's record?
They suck. They're 3-6, but I'm saying they almost beat Rutgers. They lost 16-14, right?
Yeah.
They were kind of in it with Tulsa. I know Tulsa pulled away late, 27-16. They lose in overtime to Navy without their coach in Annapolis. They've shown fight, and they just look better to me than I thought they would look.
Yeah.
When I watch them, I say, you know what, and I see the offense. Warner's just a freshman. I think they might have hired, I knew nothing about this guy. A running backs coach at Texas. Well, Bijan Robinson is looking pretty good, but
yeah.
The guy, I've been somewhat impressed with Temple despite their shitty season.
Now I want to take a look at Temple. American.
They hit the over on their win. So Vegas was wrong about Temple.
Hooter the Owl is their mascot, by the way.
Great guy.
Yeah. Hitting 54. Losing to look, you are right. They are mildly competitive in some of these games. So
there we go.
They're okay.
Patty C, I locked up this one. Where the hell's my music? All right. Give me some.
Let's go.
Dave Aranda, 38. Jeff Levy, 35. I told you. I pitied a fool.
I wouldn't say he completely shut down that offense, but as you mentioned, didn't they get a pick six off of it?
I don't think it was a full pick six. So look, Dylan Gabriel, 3 interceptions, only 2 touchdowns. He did. He did shut that offense down. What did they do total yards wise? And they still had a lot of yards. Actually, they outgained Baylor. But I think when you get critical plays like that, like who was I listening to? What game was it? I don't remember. A couple of weeks ago, they were talking about this game saying, well, this team looked better. They outgained them. And I'm like, yeah, asshole, but they had 2 interceptions for touchdowns.
Yeah.
That only matters sometimes. Like, I get it. I quote that stat sometimes. But you have to really look into it because, of course, if you have a 90 the Clemson-Syracuse game. Clemson-Syracuse game. They're like, Clemson just was the better team all day. And I'm like, and they outgained them. They were moving the ball left and right. I'm like, no, not really. Like Clemson, yes, Syracuse created turnovers and got points, but they also didn't have the ball for like the whole quarter because they had a 90-yard fumble return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
That will dilute the stats.
Yeah, that's true. If Clemson's the only one who has the ball, then that does dilute the stats.
Patty C, Brent Venables is 5-4. The remaining schedule at West Virginia next week.
That's not a gimme. West Virginia, were they competitive today? What was the final?
No, Iowa State took them down to Chinatown, buddy. All right.
They did. Was it 34-17 or something like that? Or did they?
They have to win out, West Virginia does, to make a bowl. And even at that, we got a booster at West Virginia who's trying to pay a lot of money to bring Rich Rod back.
I mean, Jackson State hasn't 31-14.
What are you talking about?
Jacksonville State.
Oh, okay.
Hasn't been as great as I thought they were going to be this year. I got to double check on that, but I do feel like they have slipped a little bit.
They have slipped a little bit. I think they lost last week, or 2 weeks ago. But my thing is like, is Oklahoma going to win in Morgantown this next week?
Probably, maybe. I don't know. They're pretty evenly matched teams. I mean, I would say Oklahoma's better, but because it's in Morgantown, I would say it becomes a little closer. What do you put the spread at in that game? Oklahoma -4, -5, yeah,
4.5,
yeah,
right. I think it's a game, but how about this? If they do not win that I think next weekend's huge for the future of Brent. I mean, I don't think Brent Venables would be fired or anything, but I'm saying if they were to lose in Morgantown, the remaining schedule, Oklahoma State, one of the final times,
yeah,
and then in Lubbock, the final time they go to Lubbock.
Oh, I am sure the Red Raiders will want to serve that dish ice cold, especially to end the season. And then would they even be bowling? I guess they might not go bowling. That would be a hell of
I'm thinking like realistically, like 6-6 probably, right?
Probably. That's still a really tough year.
Baylor still
especially
alive
with Levy as the OC. You would think like you don't even have the excuse of, he doesn't have he can just change his OC. He's got a proven offensive coordinator and things aren't going right there.
But another thing is like the Big 12's used to that shit. Your little shit might fly when you're playing. And look, I know that sounds ridiculous because the SEC has been better than the Big 12, but in certain areas, the Big 12's been better.
Like, well, offensively, unquestionably, for a long time.
That's what I'm saying. So like he comes over to Oklahoma, and it's like I feel like every team has seen this offense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I mean,
it's a
isn't
little
Levy
different.
at the end of the day like a Bryles offshoot?
Yeah.
It's been going on in the Big 12
it's the OG spot, man.
for like 20 years. Yeah.
Georgia State 42, Southern Miss 14. Ouch! I did not see that one coming. Are the Panthers going to do this again to us? They're 4-5. They're alive, Patty C. They only have they have 2 losses in conference, but they're still alive. I mean, I guess one of those was to Coastal, so that would they could win out. They're gonna go to a bowl. They're gonna end up in the Chimichanga Bowl.
I missed
Georgia State.
Georgia State.
They whooped Southern Miss's ass today. I was way off on that one. I thought Southern Miss would take them. I don't know. I don't know who this Georgia State's a hard read every year, man.
Sunbelt is the MAC, but better. It's the MAC that wins their non-conference.
Sunbelt's better than the ACC. Can we do our challenge there?
We could.
Coastal Carolina against Clemson. Who you taking?
Probably Clemson.
You really feel good about that? I don't.
I don't feel good about it.
You ever seen Clemson's quarterback play?
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Those are 5 stars, Patty C, by the way.
That's true.
How's that recruiting going?
Hey, how's that? How is the recruiting when they had like 4 national championship appearances?
Oh, come on. Those are ACC championships as far as I'm concerned.
True.
All right.
Hey, but they still beat Alabama when it counted.
Sure.
All right.
You know who else did?
Who's that?
What's my guy's name? That was Zach Calzada last year. All right.
Touche. Look, Coastal Carolina, I just think they would probably get bullied a little bit. I don't think they've seen anyone, with the interior.
I think they could give Clemson a game.
They would.
I think
they would
it's a
give
1-score game. I don't know who wins that. Okay, so who's second in the Sun Belt? Actually, Troy might be the best team in the Sun Belt.
I don't know, but look, I'm going to stop making this argument right now because JMU got bodied by Louisville today. Oof. And things are not going well right now.
They can hang on to the ODU one though against Virginia Tech.
Yeah, that's true.
And North Carolina App State game.
It's not
exactly
fucking
insane.
Yeah,
I mean, and App State's like the 4th best team in the conference right now, the 5th best team in the conference right now.
It's true. I mean, that one actually makes the Sun Belt look better than the ACC because North Carolina's sitting there at probably number 2 right now.
Wouldn't it be great to see these matchups? Come on, give us a fucking playoff, a big one. All right, not this 12-team small bullshit. See what I'm doing? I'm already complaining about the 12 team. Middle Tennessee 24, Louisiana Tech 40. Holy shit, I did not see that one coming. Stockstill. They're 4-5, yet they put it on Miami.
Yeah, maybe the good folks in Murfreesboro were onto something when they said Stockstill's lost the step.
He'll still get them bowling. He's got Charlotte on deck. They'll go 5-5.
Yeah,
they host Florida Atlantic. That's winnable, and then they're at the airport. They're gonna go. They're
7-5.
They'll be bowling.
Yeah.
They'll be bowling. I thought they were gonna win today though. That's surprising to me. Oregon 49, Colorado 10. See, even Colorado scored a touchdown. Talk to me, Miami. All right. Colorado sucks. Mike Sanford was a terrible hire as an OC, and the fact he's the head coach now, not surprising that we suck because we also lost like 30 fucking players. I was watching the TCU game today. Their starting safety, Mark Perry, Colorado. Oh, watching the USC game earlier today. They're raving about the cornerback, Mekhi Blackman. Oh, he was the starting corner at Colorado last season. Oh, guess what? I was still watching that Colorado game for like 30 seconds today. Christian Gonzalez, the starting safety for Oregon. Guess where he transferred from last year? Colorado, right? Oh, I watched the Michigan State game today. Jarek Broussard had a long run. Guess where he transferred from? Colorado. Fucking idiots.
Tough to win when all of your talent leaves your school.
Brendan Rice, USC. Dimitri Stanley, Iowa State. That's everywhere. This team got raided.
Give me an analysis of what it will take, Colorado to hold on to these kind of players.
Their NIL collective's got to step up, and then also you have to do something like they're fucking okay. Their administration, fuck you, embrace football.
Yeah.
All right, and go out and get aggressive and knock on. I want them to. They were very aggressive getting Mel Tucker for some strange reason. I didn't like it. I really didn't.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't like it when he left, but I also didn't like us hiring Mel Tucker initially.
Yeah.
Go out and get a real fucking proven winner. All right. I would call right now, and I know Welcome to UAB. Shout out to Welcome to UAB. He was laughing at me at this. I would be calling Chris Peterson every day. Dude, come back. You're a West Coast guy.
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah.
We'll give you whatever. Blank fucking check, dude. Blank check.
I feel like that would probably be a good. I mean, it's weird because at Boise, you got the Super LDS kind of mojo there in Idaho. So that's pretty conservative, which is very opposite of what's going on at Colorado. But I still feel like his Western vibe would fit there.
Well, then if he told me, no, I'm not doing that, your fucking administration sucks, then guess what? I would say, okay, next up. We're going to the Rolodex here. I would probably call Jamie Chadwell. Say, look, I know you have no ties to the West Coast, but it's fucking beautiful here.
Yeah.
And you can smoke weed, you can gamble. It's fantastic. Come here, right?
Yeah.
You would say, I don't know. I don't know how to recruit over there. I don't know. I'm not plugged in. All right, next. Gary fucking Patterson, maybe? Maybe just an idea.
Mendenhall.
Bronco Mendenhall. How about Willie Fritz or Jeff Traylor?
Yeah.
Or, Chris Creighton?
I mean,
of these guys?
To push back on you, Carl Durrell is a bit of a proven entity at this point.
No one was even considering him.
That's true. He had taken a step away.
Do you realize why we had to hire Durrell? Because Mel Tucker fucked us so late in the season, right?
Yeah.
All the other coaching hires had happened. It was like in March. It was like March 10th. It was like,
yeah,
we have to do a coaching search.
For the last 3 years, you've been dealing with the leftover scraps of a coaching cycle. Maybe get ahead of it this time and get a good coach.
And go back to the Big 12. I don't like you in the Pac-12. All these fucking schools think they're fucking elitists. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking just go back. I want to see the Buffs playing Kansas State and shit. You know what I mean? Come on.
Beautiful.
Let's go. Penn State 45, Indiana 14, Patty C.
That's true. And you know what? That Buffalo running around the field.
So much more Big 12.
It's so much more Big 12.
Pac-12
it's so much more great plans.
Terrible. Colorado never fit in the Pac-12.
It's true.
Get out of there. All right. Penn State 45, Indiana 14. Tom Allen's going to get fired at Indiana. Should they get Urban Meyer?
Colby is delusional thinking that Colby thinks Urban Meyer is going to go to Florida International. I understand.
No, Mike McIntyre's he's building a winner there. All right. Airport flies in any weather.
There you go. But Colby thinks Urban Meyer is going to take a job less than a Power 5.
Okay, so where do you
winner?
Think? No, Indiana, they're right there in the neck of the woods he recruited, just like Louisville.
There is no national championship.
Okay, well, where
potential.
will Urban Meyer end up then, Patty C?
Urban Meyer will probably end up. I mean, I did like your Louisville comment.
Oh, because that's a perfect match. Because they would spend.
Yeah, and they will say, "Fuck
they would
you."
Spend.
Yeah.
They would spend.
We don't care about your.
What about West Virginia?
Past transgressions.
What about West Virginia with Urban Meyer? Right
fit.
there
It
on
could
Ohio.
Fit. It could fit. It could, and he might do it because he's getting just old enough that he might not get that Alabama job, that Auburn job, right? But West Virginia was still.
Could you see Ole Miss if Lincoln Riley takes the Auburn job, hiring Urban Meyer?
Yes,
I could too.
Yes,
and that would be fucking
very,
fantastic.
very easily.
You give me the SEC West with Saban, Kiffin, Leach, Urban Meyer, Brian Kelly, and pulled pork Pittman.
Absolute fire.
Fuck yeah,
Absolute
man.
Fire.
Oh, it's fantastic. Patty C, is Penn State good?
They are exactly who we know them to be.
The same Penn State we see every year.
Yeah. Slightly below or significantly below Michigan and Ohio State, but above pretty much everyone else.
Syracuse 9, Pitt 19. Narduzzi in a doozy of a game. I took Syracuse reluctantly. I should have took Pitt. I told myself Pitt will win this game because they're kind of like Notre Dame. Like they'll play physical, and Syracuse doesn't like to play physical.
Well, the game was in Pitt as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, give me that the Dome team isn't gonna play too well on the road there.
But Syracuse 3 losses in a row, perfect because basketball season starts Monday. They did their job. They kept fans excited.
Right.
While they and do they have 6 wins? They have 6, so they can go play in the.
It's a championship season. Put the statue up of Babers.
Lego my Ego Bowl.
Yeah. Exactly.
Patty C, are any of those teams any good?
Who?
Like if you Syracuse, Arizona State, who are you taking?
Where is that game being played? That is completely what the answer is. If it's in Syracuse, I'm taking the Orange. If it's down in Tempe, it's a blowout. So I would say Arizona State's the better team.
Okay.
Can't say that with confidence though.
Okay. Pitt plays Missouri. Who you taking?
I don't know. Pitt, Abanikanda is such a fucking freak that like
he's a beast.
you have to accept.
It is amazing. Look, I kind of side with Whipple in that situation, even though like I love to see teams running the rock.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I see him run, sometimes I'm like, how the fuck was he on the roster last year? Guy had like 3 carries last
That's
year.
probably what Narduzzi was freaking out about. He's like, dude, run the damn ball. We have this dude. He's capable of running for what? Are you gonna get Tech?
I mean, dude, he had like 1,000 yards one of those games.
Yeah,
Man.
6 touchdowns. I think
beast.
320 yards in one game.
Oh, UCLA just locked it up with a pick in the end zone. Tennessee 13, Georgia 27. Patty C, talk to me.
Wasn't even that close. I feel like it was 27
it was
to 6.
not close at all.
Until
They basically shut them out, their defense from the end zone. They scored with 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
It's like we said though, this offense has its limitations.
I questioned your knowledge on Wednesday's episode.
It has its limitations a little bit.
Yeah, it's as Colby
I feel like
calls it.
Bryles had that. Like Aranda. This is what I mean. And that's the irony is Aranda's at Baylor now. But I feel like
anyone who studied that offense intensely can counter it.
I still think it's a great season for Tennessee, obviously, but
I mean, look,
they're going to go 11-1. I mean, are they going to get in the playoff, Betty C? The
Tennessee,
Invitational.
I mean,
do they beat Missouri this weekend?
Yes.
Do they win at South Carolina?
Probably.
Do they win at Vanderbilt? They
yes.
They got the nice treatment. The back-to-back way of at South Carolina than at Vandy.
Wow,
that's the love.
It's country club back-to-back road.
Love right there.
I'm gonna say they finished 11-1, but I can't imagine the Big 12 and the Pac-12 are what matter here.
But that LSU win's looking better.
Tennessee, it
they
is.
blew them out.
No,
man.
it's a nice. They're going to have a resume that is their only losses to the reigning national champion, #1 team in the country. That's as good a loss as you can possibly have, and then the rest wins. But that said, they're not going to be a conference champion, and there's going to be a bunch of other one-loss teams with one more data point, which was something in year one that hurt TCU, is not having that extra data point, right? Not an outright conference champion.
Point.
As this
data point shit is bullshit.
Fuck you, committee.
Data point.
They're such dorks.
Fucking Condoleezza Rice.
Whatever they can come up with, they'll come up with these little terms. Game control. Yeah. Now I use it because they use it, but back in the day, it was like, hey, you fucking won, you lost.
Data point. Data point's like the Subway sub club. You know what I mean? Some man-made bullshit. Patty C, Georgia is about to hit their first back-to-back away game of the season. Their stretch in Stark Vegas next week, and then at Kentucky. I got a feeling Mike One Leach might give them a game.
Well, if last week,
what do you mean? If Missouri can give them a game a couple weeks ago, last time Mississippi State took on Georgia, it was in Athens. Very sneaky, very close game. I want you to pull that thing up.
Let me ask you this, though. Because ultimately
31-24 last time they played, and that was in Athens.
Because ultimately, though, Josh Heupel and Mike Leach are from the same.
No, but Heupel runs the vertical shit that Art Briles does.
And it's more horizontal for Leach.
Yeah.
And you think that's going to cause more problems?
No, I think Starkville will being that it's
a home environment.
It's actually, I would say, the best. Look, there are other away games this year at South Carolina, who we know is dog shit, like the fake 6-4 or whatever the record is.
6-3 fake.
And then at Mizzou, and they only beat Mizzou by 4.
Yeah,
Mississippi State's better than those two teams, dude.
It's true, and it's a letdown spot after hosting Tennessee. College game day in town.
Game day is going to Starkville?
No, it was in town this week.
I got you.
You're right. It is a great time for Mississippi State to catch them. Will they do it? I don't know, but
I'm just saying I think it'll be closer than what we think.
Either way, Georgia is still going to win. They'll probably win the SEC with one loss.
No. Don't be silly. I'm still hoping. No, Stetson Bennett looked good.
It could happen. I mean, the ultimate thing would be if we have a 2-loss SEC champion, which with LSU being where they are right now, that is very possible. They could beat Georgia. We'll see. Patty C,
Oklahoma State 16, Kansas 37. You, my friend. What is Pollock Reed said? I want you, right?
You.
Noah. Shout out to Noah Bean. He made a nice clip today, but in that clip he says, you went out of your way to say, you hear this, folks? Colby's calling for Kansas to make a bowl. Let's make sure we give him shit. How are we looking now, buddy?
The crow,
How's that? Yeah.
Give me some actual crow so I can eat it.
How the fuck is that looking right now? Huh?
Unbelievable.
How is that looking?
What
other podcast?
In my defense,
dude,
you are the lone prognosticator.
Our own publicist, who he was calling me to get this thing. He's going to type up this thing where I can get on radio stations all around the country. And I go, I got Kansas making a bowl. And he actually had to call me back because he was like, what, Kansas? You got Kansas making a bowl?
Yeah.
Because I told him all this, and then
he's like, this is going to ruin your credit.
Yeah,
here.
he was like, dude, I don't think it's a good idea. There's other things we can say here. And I go, no, I think Kansas can make a bowl. He was like, all right, I'll write it.
Boom.
How the fuck we looking?
The BDE
He will be getting a Christmas card, and that's going to be I got a big-ass Jayhawk on the front of that fucking Christmas card.
Boom.
Right? Buddy, I mean, let's talk about this. This was without Jalen Daniels still. This is without Kobe Bryant, without their whole fucking
Jason
team.
Bean,
Shaw.
Looking like Pat White out there.
He's got some legs.
Yep.
Buddy, let's talk about this because 6 wins. Next week, they take on Texas Tech.
Where's that game?
It's Lubbock.
That's tough. Winnable, but tough.
Then they're home to Texas.
Also tough.
Then they're at K-State.
Also very tough.
Jalen Daniels might be back next week.
I would count on 1 and 2 in that stretch.
7-5.
Great year.
7-5. Give him a fucking national. Build a statue.
Yeah.
And match whatever Nebraska's offering. I want him to stay at Kansas until Wichita State starts their fucking football program.
I mean,
right?
the PJ Fleck. What's the word I'm looking for? His stock probably dropped a little bit with the fact that they struggled with Nebraska for as long as they did today. So maybe Leipold is the number 1 target after today.
I don't think Leipold's driven by just, dollar bills
and national championship aspirations.
He's got 6 blings already. Talk to me.
It's true.
All right. Oink Oink said, I gave you shit about Kansas this preseason as well. Yeah, that's right, man. Look, I appreciate it takes a man to admit when you're wrong. And I appreciate you, Oink Oink. And rock chalk, motherfuckers. Rock chalk.
Well, that is true.
But honestly, like this is blowing your mind a little bit, right? Like that.
It's
felt pretty good about me like shutting me up, right?
No, I did. I felt good about you being ridiculous about them getting to a bowl game this year. I had no idea that they had this kind of upside and that they would be.
Dude, what happens if Jalen Daniels doesn't get injured?
They might be in Big 12 contention here.
Yeah.
But to Leipold's credit, Bean is playing like a beast. He's stepped in great as a backup.
Well, they got that bye week. He looked really good today. I know, obviously, there's no Spencer Sanders, but
I mean, is there a chance that they rebound to their previous level? And now with 2 confident quarterbacks, they could be very dangerous. Are they necessarily out of the Big 12?
No, not necessarily yet. Not because I know you think 3 losses,
but they have. You said K-State and Texas; those are the 2 front runners for the Big 12.
Yeah,
they get both of those. They're in.
Yeah, well, and Texas has to play TCU, right?
K-State Big 12 champions.
And Baylor, who are the top 2 teams other than Texas. So they're in that mix. They're in that mix, baby. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
I would. You deserve some kind of award if they even make it to the Big 12 championship.
Give me that. What do they call that thing? A Pulitzer Prize? I'm joking. A Pulitzer. I know.
A Pulitzer.
I know. Is that some type of drink? Patty C, I locked up Kansas today. Besides the win total, I bet them against Oklahoma State. It came through. I also bet UCF -3. Boom. Can we talk about the open job that might be happening at that FedEx Money at Memphis as they get snubbed on a Big 12 invite?
I feel like
they're 4-5.
They're not that bad. They're not that bad,
buddy. They've lost 4 straight games.
Let me.
Who are their good wins?
Let me pull up Memphis' schedule real quick.
And guess what? I mean, the good news is North Alabama's coming to town. The bad news is after that, you're at SMU.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
he can still get to 6-6. Will that save his job? Probably, right?
Bowling, especially if they win the bowl game. But since they're probably
will they beat Tulsa? I kind of think Tulsa's better. I think it's kind of a 50-50
But
game.
getting him in Memphis is huge. A Thursday night on a short week. Look, a 7-point loss against UCF, respectable, and a 10-point loss at Tulane, respectable. A 4 overtime 2-point loss at East Carolina, respectable. A 1-point loss against Houston, respectable. Look, they're not as bad as you're making them out.
Memphis is
You're
talent.
a silver field. Let's give the guy the credit. I'm going to say his real name.
What's his record right now?
He's 4-4.
No. I'm talking about
4-5
as a head coach of this program. I'm going to quickly pull that up. So he's 4-4 this year, right?
Yeah.
No, he's 4-5 this year.
4-5.
4-5. So that would put him at 22. No, actually, it already has it. Damn, 18-15 as head coach of Memphis. Do you think that's good enough?
I think it's tough competition. I think it's tough sledding in the
Look, college football is
American?
in this critical stage right now. I
think he needs to improve.
I really believe college football is in this critical stage right now. We're going to find out what teams want to be good in football, because I think they might get lost if they separate from the NCAA, which I think is probable almost at some point.
Yeah.
Some teams might get stuck in the pack and end up.
Oh, Memphis is very much in limbo.
That's what I'm saying. So in my opinion, I get it. Traditionally, I don't like to fire a coach who has a winning record.
Yeah.
But I think you got to strike while the fucking iron's hot.
He's got to show something soon, because this program does have higher expectations than mediocrity or slightly above, mediocrity.
No one was at the Liberty Bowl for that game today, too.
That was
pathetic.
pathetic.
Fan interest is down. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, go get some
You
barbecue.
got UCF in town. You can't bring the crowd out.
Yeah.
You got to do something
Pretty
about
bad.
that.
That's why you get exciting. Urban Meyer to Memphis.
See, Colby.
Would he take it?
Delusional
Would he take
Colby. Would he take it?
Maybe he likes the Blues.
If Urban Meyer went to Memphis, that'd be a fucking incredible.
Rich Rod to Memphis.
That could happen.
Could Dion? Is that no? No.
That could happen. But I feel like Dion's getting attention from Power Fives.
Who could they land?
Who could Memphis land?
Would Mullen take it, or that too low?
Sure.
Job? Would he take that?
I think he might. Yeah.
What if they get Fuente back? No. The Hendon Hooker thing is in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Bad
luck.
Yeah, and I see the Fuente reunion there. I don't think in Tennessee, because of how good Hendon Hooker's playing, that would go over very well. Half of Memphis is like Tennessee fans, Vol fans too.
That's true.
Washington State 52, Stanford 14. I didn't realize that they put up this many points. So maybe Stanford is worse than I think. But when I watched them the past couple of weeks, I was like, hey, you know what? Stanford's actually got some playmakers. Yeah. I know they've been destroyed by injuries, though. Stanford's on like their third string running back, and I know that they have been absolutely just destroyed by injuries this year. But wow, I did not see
Wazoo quietly a very good team.
They're a decent team, man. They're better than their record. They're better than their record.
A 3-point loss against Oregon. 2 touchdown loss against USC.
They were up the whole game against Oregon. They were up for like 59 minutes of that game.
A 4-point loss against Utah. They're solid, and yet they're only sitting here at what, 5-4 still. Arizona State, Arizona, and Washington on deck. They'll go bowling.
They might be able to win all those.
They could.
West Virginia 14, Iowa State 31. Patty C.
Sure, we saw that one coming. Did we lock that? I feel like we should have if we didn't.
We should have, but we didn't. West Virginia is the worst team in the country, dude.
Well, on the road, bet against West Virginia. At home, bet on West Virginia. That's especially against Big 12 competition.
Me and Patty C were watching the Notre Dame game today. Shout out to Notre Dame, great win. We're gonna talk
who
about
called that one?
Minute.
By the way,
I took it too.
I called Notre Dame on the money line. I called LSU on the money line.
Oh,
fuck you!
I didn't call LSU, but I did call Notre Dame. Patty C. Iowa State. We were talking. So we were talking about the Notre Dame Clemson game, and we were just saying hypothetically, where would we put Notre Dame in the middle of like in ranking all the Power Five?
Yeah.
And I said, if they play Iowa State, what would you set that lineup? Who would you have winning? What would that line be? And we both were, I think we were like a half point off or 1 point off, but we both favored Iowa State.
4.5 points, I think we said.
Against Notre
somewhere
Dame.
Between 4 and 5. Yeah. I mean, playing in South Bend would make that closer.
Yeah.
Maybe even favor Notre Dame. But if you're playing in Iowa State, I think Iowa State gets them. I think they have more weapons. I think Notre Dame is still pretty limited through the air.
Let me ask you this. If Iowa State played Clemson.
If Iowa State played Clemson, For some reason, I feel like Clemson's a better matchup against Iowa State than Notre Dame is.
Can I just read you, with the exception of the Baylor game, look what Iowa State's defense has done this year. FCS week 1, they held them to 10 points, right? Iowa week 2, 7 points, right? Iowa's offense, really good, right?
Yeah.
The Ohio Bobcats, who actually do put up a lot of points, they held them to 10 points, right?
Yeah.
Baylor, they lost. This is the only one that they gave up 31, right? But I know their safety got knocked out of that game, and they attacked that safety the whole fucking game.
Yeah.
Kansas, who's got a good offense, they held them to 14 points, right?
Yeah.
They held Kansas State to 10 points, right?
Yeah.
They held Texas to 24 points, right? They held Oklahoma 27 points. But my point is this, and then West Virginia today 14. Their defense is really good.
Number 11 defense in the country.
Yeah. Noah's like, didn't Clemson and Iowa State play in a bowl game last year? Correct, they did. But I guess you're right. But Breece Hall didn't play in that. I don't think all those guys played in that.
I don't know. I mean, they don't have Breece Hall
Clemson
anymore.
won that game though.
I don't think Clemson is the team they were last year, though.
Yeah, but I don't think Iowa State is either, though.
That's true.
But that Breece Hall didn't play last year.
Yeah.
I think all those guys, like some of their big players, did not play in that game. So the problem is we can no longer hold bowl games as like a measuring stick, because when there's 76 players that don't fucking play,
you can use the non-conference slate, but you can't use the bowl games.
You got to
very well.
You got to use the non-conference slate, and the bowl games are just.
Yeah.
They don't even need it. It's like when you see
Confetti.
like the college basketball games, the preseason ones that happen in like October. That's like the equivalent of like a bowl game.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Oink oink in the chat saying Breece Hall didn't play and several defensive players. So I think Iowa State and Clemson would be a game right now. And that's if that was the worst team in the Big 12 coming into this week.
And the best team in the ACC
would be. I'm telling you, I think Iowa State's defense would lock down Clemson's offense.
Here's why I see this as different. Notre Dame steamrolled the shit out of Clemson today, because Clemson's offense, because DJU's not that good and their weapons aren't amazing on the edges, is still kind of predicated on run first to set up the pass, right? You got to establish the run a little bit. They could not do that against Notre Dame because Notre Dame is more physical than they are. And so they completely shut down that, approach for Clemson. Iowa State is not as physically imposing as Notre Dame is.
But I do think this year's Iowa State's team's defense better than last year's.
Yeah.
So I think this defense is pretty good.
I think you'd have a very even matchup in that game.
But that's hilarious. You're talking about the team that's the ACC champion, supposed to be on paper right now.
Number 14
against
in the country.
The worst team in the Big 12.
That's true.
Coming into this week, I think West Virginia might have moved itself to the worst team in the Big 12. Michigan State 23, Illinois 15. Patty C locked this one up.
Do it. Didn't expect the money line, though. Did not expect the money line to come.
I took Michigan State in the points. I did not expect the money line, but I thought it's possible because Illinois plays this weird fucking style where it's like you can if you live and die by that thing and say, hey, Tommy DeVito, go win me the game. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, you got to just play your game.
I thought Illinois was the more physical team this year. That proved not to be the case this year. But again, in a game that is like a slugfest like that, it comes down to one or two plays changing the the momentum of the game and the leverage of the game a little bit, and that was in Michigan State's favor.
I already cashed my Michigan State under ticket, so I'm good. Win all the fucking games you want now. All right, the best man won,
and he doesn't like it. John Rambo,
yeah, legendary. Where the fuck? I don't know here. Let's go with this.
Spinal.
UTSA, UAB. We talked about that game. Utah State. Oh, I can't believe they covered this. 27, New Mexico 10. We were getting 16 in New Mexico.
I took Utah State.
Utah State.
Fuck you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Utah State's still alive to get to a bowl. 4-5. Still alive. South Alabama 38, Georgia Southern 31, Patty C. The Sun Belt remains a mystery. I almost need to look at this race now because by South Alabama winning, I think that then what does it do as far as but Troy won. Troy won against Louisiana. So Troy has basically a 1.5 game lead because they beat South Alabama. I think Troy is going to be in the Sun Belt Championship. It's getting pretty clear, actually.
Dude, you took South Alabama in your preseason.
Yeah, it was my win total lock over 5.5 wins. Boom.
Impressive.
Dude, and by the way, our preseason locks win totals episode, we're kicking fucking ass. Go back and listen to that.
Throw the D sky high.
It's looking pretty clear right now. Coastal versus Troy.
Troy, a surprise team, without a doubt.
Troy Trojans, baby. Patty C, Liberty 21, Arkansas 19. Let's talk about your Flames.
By the real quick,
Flame on.
Ginarius Johnson did have a tackle today. Want to throw my favorite porn star into the mix.
Yes.
Flamers though.
Can we talk about Liberty? Hey, AAC, you're adding UTSA, you're adding UAB, you're adding these quality football programs.
Or Sunbelt.
Yeah, or Sunbelt. I just don't want to see Liberty in the CUSA.
Yeah,
they're too good to be in the CUSA.
That's a downgrade.
The new CUSA. You got to understand, folks. Next year, the AAC will be having Florida Atlantic, Rice, North Texas, UTSA, Charlotte. Charlotte gets in there. How does Charlotte get in there, but not Liberty?
Yeah.
It's got to be the religious shit, man.
The haters. Haters gonna
Dude,
hate.
they should just stay independent.
They should. I
like them independent. Playing all these big games because they can fuck some teams up, man.
In an argument against what you're saying, they are going to go 11-1 this year potentially, and they are going to get completely left out of any relevant game because the group of 5 is the one that gets the New Year's 6 bid, no matter how good the independent.
The committee
is.
also, I mean, the rankings, the committee, they don't respect independence. They hurt them from the start. Unless you're Notre Dame. If you're Notre Dame, they'll fucking put you top 5 every year.
That's true. And we talked about the expansion of the playoff going to 12. An 11-1 Liberty still might not make that half the time.
Well, that's hilarious because aren't you trying? Well, it's a fair system.
Yeah.
I mean, go back and look at that Marshall undefeated team a couple years ago in the CUSA. They wouldn't get in.
Yeah, I feel like BYU during the COVID season was like 11-1 with a loss by one yard.
On a game that they scheduled on like a Tuesday.
2 days before, right? And they still got no love for the rest of the year.
You got to go bigger than 12. I'm telling you.
Well. So I think that's why Conference USA, maybe they at least get a New Year's 6 bid, with a great year there. But probably not.
But the new Conference USA, folks, it's like New Mexico State, Jacksonville State.
Yeah, you're basically
Tech,
playing an
the
FCS
airports.
schedule.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's not as deep as this USA. But Patty C, Arkansas, it's a tough loss for Arkansas.
It is.
Tough loss for the Razorbacks there.
Hugh Freeze got out early. Are the folks in on the plains in Auburn licking their chops at Hugh Freeze? You mentioned though, Lane Kiffin and Hugh Freeze have the same agent.
Yeah.
And Hugh Freeze recently, signed an extension at Liberty, saying that
kind of makes you think, did he know that Kiffin maybe would take the Auburn job? Who knows? I mean, who knows? But it kind of makes sense. Or he signed it so another SEC team could go match it higher. I don't know.
Yeah.
Navy 10, Cincinnati 20. Navy gets the cover. We were all on that one. Bearcats wins. Wasn't super impressive, though.
Bearcats need offense. They are playing. They're having a good year for a down year. If this is Cincinnati's floor, then Luke Fickell is building a very good program. But Ben Bryant ain't the answer. We're going to see when Evan Prater comes up if he's like, a next level guy. But they got to get some stuff figured out.
The airport went to Denton, Texas, Patty C. North Texas whooped that ass. Let's talk about the CUSA race right now. Right now, if the season ended, it would be UTSA and North Texas in the championship game. A little Texas battle.
It's a fun one.
I like it.
Denton versus San Antonio.
Especially because North Texas ruined their perfect season last year. And they almost beat them 2 weeks ago in the Alamodome, the house that Antoine Carr built.
Don't you dare.
Troy 23, Louisiana 17. We talked about that. Troy's doing a great job. How about this one? Texas State 30, ULM 31. We were watching this one. Texas State got like a chip shot field goal. The kicker missed to win the game. Jake Spavital. It's tough. He's in a make or break year.
What did Spavital learn?
Never fade a Bowden in a big game, all right?
No, rule as old as time.
And shout out to ULM for getting their 3rd win of the season, 3-6. hey, still alive to make the bowl game.
The good folks in Monroe. By the way, that town is tiny. I want to say there's like 20,000 people in that town, maybe 30,000. And then there's nothing else around it. It's like that is a little pocket of.
Sounds like a perfect spot to play some football.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It's beautiful.
Let's go.
I want to go down there and party.
We need to get down to ULM. UNLV 10. San Diego State 14. Nobody walks into the snapper and gets a dub. Patty C's win totals. He has a
hanging
lock
on by a thread.
San Diego. I think he might be able to figure. I mean, what really hurt you was that crazy comeback by Fresno, but you might be all right still.
What's the remaining schedule?
Home to San Jose State, who did win today. That's the big one. I think that's the one you circle.
But the home field advantage there is nice.
At the snapper. Yeah. Then they're in Dream Style Stadium in Albuquerque against New Mexico. They should get that one.
Should.
So if they find a way to beat San Jose next week, and then they're home to Air Force, but they have a great track record against Air Force. That Rocky Long shit.
That's still a pretty big stretch to think that they're going to win out. The number is 7.5. They got to get to 8. Obviously, they're at 5-4. Probably not going to happen. Sorry, guys. That's a bad beat unless they win out, in which case I'm a genius. So.
BYU 31, Boise State 28. Oh, the rivalry. Just when you think Boise's rolling, Puka Nacua catches 14 passes for 157 yards and says, "Fuck you, Smurf Turf." Whoa. Patty C, BYU 5-5 now. Their remaining schedule: Utah Tech, formerly Dixie State, and then Stanford. They're gonna go 7-5.
Utah, BYU.
You listening to the show?
I am. I'm trying to track down.
We're doing a show right now, buddy.
You mentioned Puka Nacua's receiving stats, and it reminded me of Josh Downs against Virginia today. And then I want to look up what he's done over the last 2 years. But yes, keep going. 7-5, underwhelming year for BYU, but
this was a huge win. This was a huge win to get the ship going back in the right direction, heading into Big 12 play next year. Texas 34, Kansas State 27. I was crushed by this game. I made a wager on this one.
Oh, yeah. You were getting 2.5. We all locked it.
Adrian Martinez fumbled 3 times out of 5 snaps. The old Adrian Martinez from Nebraska showed up today. They should have started Will Howard.
We were saying that the whole second half. Get Howard in there. Should
have started Will Howard today or put him in there. But K-State's still alive. But damn it, that's a huge win for Texas, man. They only scored 3 points in the second half. They fucking
Yeah, here. Let me
blood
tell you
in the water here. They didn't get it done, man. Adrian Martinez is killing me here.
That was a terrible ending to the game.
His pocket presence is.
It's like you are so fast.
Come on.
Move around. Use
Feel
your
the
legs.
pocket pressure.
Yeah. It was frustrating to watch. But they did make a valiant comeback. They just got down too early. But if they had Howard in there, I think they probably win that game.
I agree.
Now, let me say this. UVA UNC last year, Josh Downs, 8 receptions, 203 yards. This year, 15 receptions, 166 yards. There's no excuse. There's plenty of film on this guy whipping your ass. And then, gosh, that's what 368 receiving yards in 2 years. You suck, Virginia. You suck.
Alabama 31, LSU 32, Patty C. We talked about this one to open the show.
Beautiful.
What a great game. That was best game of the day, probably, I would say.
Beautiful. And bye-bye, Bama. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
What do you mean? They're still going to get in.
That's right. Win the SEC West.
Arkansas is going to beat LSU next week. Bama beats Ole Miss.
Bama win the national championship.
Well, yeah. Bama beats Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Then LSU would then have how many SEC losses then? 2. So Bama has 2.
They'd have to lose one more.
And guess where they play the final game of the season? And A&M's third composite rank talent level shit. We'll find a way.
Up. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Bama's in the SEC championship.
They beat number 1 Georgia.
Yeah. They're in
at number 4.
I can see this coming. Patty C, there was a basketball game played today. Houston 63, SMU 77.
Oh, wait. That was actually on a football field?
What the fuck?
Weird.
Hey, Dana Holgerson, I know you can't fire him right now because you're still alive to play in the AAC championship, but you can certainly fire your defensive coordinator because I'll actually, if I was the defensive coordinator, you wouldn't even need to fire me.
I would have quit alone.
I would be a no-show. I'd be like
when you gave up 56 points at halftime, you should have quit.
Yeah,
you should have walked off out of, doing what's right for the world.
You walk up to the stands. You grab
popcorn.
No. You grab one of those little guys behind the counter. You say, I need the strongest drink you fucking have. All right. And if you don't give me a good portion of it, I will punch you in the face.
Yeah.
I work with the university.
Shit house for the second half, and you get through it, and then you resign.
No. You just take the bartender, you punch him in the face.
Yeah.
You grab all their liquor that's behind the counter. You start drinking it,
drink
and
yourself.
you walk out, and then the police go to talk to you. You punch them in the face, just like
that's how you end your tenure.
Didn't we see someone punch someone? Oh yeah, college basketball. D.R. Johnson, the point guard for Pitt. Not a good idea to punch a cop in the face. Not going to work out.
Never works out the way you think it is. 77 points. The best part about it was they get the onside kick at the end of the game. They're about to score and make it 70-77, but they throw the interception in the end zone, seals the game.
Yeah, we almost had this was close to go into
the stupidest fucking game that ever.
This is retarded. I don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
I don't even want to I put my eyes on it for like 33 minutes today.
Yeah. Hey, Texas, we get it. Like the air raid caught on, pretty popular over there.
What's happening here?
We're losing signal here.
What's happening here?
But hey, that doesn't mean you have to quit playing defense altogether. Let's get it together, folks.
Yeah. And keep talking about Dana Holgorsen. Is he there at Houston next year, Petty C?
Dana Holgorsen, what's their record at Houston? I feel like they're winning still, right?
Yeah, I mean they're still alive to get to the AAC championship, believe it or not.
Unbelievable. Holgorsen, sure. I think he's still there.
Clemson 14, Notre Dame 35.
Knew that one was coming.
Marcus Freeman, it's the biggest win of his career so far.
It's a huge win.
That's a gigantic win for momentum heading into the year because the Notre Dame fans now, even if he loses to Navy next week,
his job is secure.
He's fine.
I'm going to say this. It's a bold statement, but I do think Notre Dame wins out. I can't say that with honesty, though. If I'm being really truthful, that's just me going.
You know who they lose to, right?
Who's that?
Boston College.
Boston College.
You know why, right?
Why is that?
Because Stanford had a good quarterback and a good wide receiver.
And
well, actually, I think Jerkovic might be out for the year. If he's out for the year, they're going to get BC.
Yeah. But yeah, that Stanford game was in South Bend too, just like the Boston College game. They beat Navy in Baltimore, who they've never, despite having a home series with, haven't played in Annapolis in like what?
They're the worst.
100 years or something.
They're the worst.
Fucking terrible.
Why would you do that? Why? Come on, just go play a game in Annapolis.
Shook
Are you
ones.
afraid you're gonna fucking lose to a team that can't even recruit?
Yeah, right. They have.
You know how they recruit? They're in my high school talking to me in my fucking cafeteria while I'm trying to eat lunch when you're in 10th grade. All right.
That's right.
That's how you end up playing football at Navy. All right.
Telling you to do pull-ups to impress the girls in your shop class or whatever the hell it is.
I'm sitting there trying to order a very fine. All right. And I got this fucking asshole talking to me. All right.
That's their recruiting bit. But I do think they go to USC and at least they give them a damn good game. They might win that on the money line. My confidence is a little shaken though.
Nah. Stop.
No, I'm going to say it. Notre Dame beats USC. Notre Dame beats USC. They win out. Notre Dame wins out.
Arizona 20, Utah 45. Utah continues to roll. So, James Madison 10, Louisville 34.
Had to go there, didn't we?
Great moment, though. Great moment in this game when and by the way, what the fuck? Malik Cunningham grabs the face mask of the defender, forces him to the ground.
Well, drags him 15 yards out of bounds by his face mask, and then plays the victim.
Everyone thinks it's the linebacker's fault.
Yeah. I like the Louisville fans on Twitter saying JMU is one of the trashiest fan bases we've ever had coming to this.
Oh, you're fucking Louisville.
Yeah. You are Louisville. You are the scum of the fucking universe. Fuck you.
Dude, I once knew a guy that got fellatio at Preakness, right? In
Sounds about right.
So in one of the porta potties,
I know this story.
he stood on the toilet seat.
This is not.
And
We're losing fans.
No, but I'm saying that is what I picture, like Clemson, or not Clemson's, Louisville's, like for Louisville fans to call out.
Was that the Derby or was that at Preakness?
Preakness.
Preakness is in Maryland, so
Yes,
that's not
but-
Louisville.
No. I'm just saying though that grime,
The horse
that
racing,
grime
yeah,
of that thing happening,
yeah,
at that stadium or at that
is
parking
typical.
lot
Yeah,
is like what I picture when you're picturing to compare it to college
yeah.
universities and clean programs. That's what I would compare
Yeah.
the Louisville Cardinals program to. I don't know if anyone
Porta
understands what the
potty
fuck I'm
head.
talking about, but
No,
anyway.
wait. Let's tell the story. Let's do it justice. Your buddy, what's his name?
No, don't
All right,
give out his
we're
name.
not giving out
dude.
names. I was just
You're
gonna
gonna
give
get me
a
in a lot
first
of
name.
trouble.
Just giving you a first name, but he tells a story where the porta potty is actually overflowed to the point where you can't even sit down. It is just
man.
completely full.
He was in his 20s. He was in his 20s,
and he gets dome inside of it.
dude. Well, the best part is
That's the chick you
no,
married.
the best part is someone opens the door.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the college experience.
Yeah. South Carolina 38, Vanderbilt 27. How you doing, folks? Vanderbilt almost backdoored this.
Woo!
Almost backdoored this. You got this done. You made me and Nick look like a
Boom.
fool.
6-3. Beamer Magic is alive and well, and I'm telling you this.
They're going to beat Tennessee in 2 weeks.
maybe,
Huh?
maybe.
No.
But Colby doubts that Beamer is the long-term answer at Virginia Tech. Brent Pry's failings right now are actually a good thing for the people in Blacksburg because Shane Beamer is going to come in on his white stallion.
They're going to look great when they're playing in the Atlantic 10 football conference in 10 years. All right.
No. The ACC is basically the same thing as the Atlantic 10. And he will recruit Virginia well. He will come in with his Beamer Magic, and lo and behold, Virginia Tech will be where they used to be. And all will be right in Blacksburg.
You're silly.
Write it.
I like that. I like
Write
it. Michigan 52, Rutgers 17. I didn't even realize they added on those garbage points. What did they score in the fourth?
Yeah, like 10 pick sixes, I
Okay.
feel like.
Yeah. The forward pass still a problem for Rutgers ever since the first college football game.
1869,
Yes.
and we're working on it.
Florida State 45, Miami 3. Fantastic. Auburn. Cadillac Williams, man, I was rooting for him in a way.
Yeah.
I didn't want him to win because Mike Leach is our guy. But at the same time, damn it, I want to see Cadillac
He
Williams.
made a hell of a show.
I like Cadillac
and
Williams.
his energy was great.
I like him. I wanted him to win out and put Auburn in a situation where they're like, dude, we were just joking about the interim job. We did this because you're like a legend here.
Right.
And then they'd be like, well, he beat Bama.
Right.
He could still do it. What happens if he beats Bama?
At this point, if he beats Bama, they'd have to give it consideration. But I think he would have had to have won out for it to be like a
Sure bet.
yeah,
right?
sure bet.
Yeah. Coach Leach gets it done. That was actually scary. They were up like 24-3 or something, and Auburn came all the way back. That even shows, man, that's shout out to Cadillac Williams, man. He didn't get that dub, but
Yeah. Noah says 3 consecutive drives with interceptions for Rutgers against Michigan.
that happened against Iowa too. That's like their offense.
Yeah.
There's always a point in the game where they have 3 interceptions in a row. So you can take that to the bank, all right? Shiano's like, okay, we're entering the second quarter, folks. Let's go to
throw
our
these
offense. All right, get these interceptions out of the way so we can come back. And when I come back, I mean next year. Maybe we'll get invited to a bowl game at fucking 4-8. All right. Wake this one, and I must apologize to our listeners. Wake Forest 21, NC State 30. What happened to Wake Forest? We still need one win for them to hit our over.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on with Wake Forest? And all of a sudden, like NC State, look, NC State has a lot of phony wins this year, and I have a ticket under 8.5 wins. But I actually think this was a legit win by NC State. This was not the ECU.
No, Wake Forest never was like in control of this game.
This was a legit win by NC State. They have 3 other horseshit wins, but this one was legit. And
2 straight losses. I mean, 3 weeks ago they beat Boston College by 28 points.
what's happening there?
And now, boom, they lose to Louisville. The back-to-back
We're
road.
sure WikiLeaks isn't happening again?
Could be. Louisville, obviously a culprit. I would imagine NC State would have been one of the culprits as well. They get North Carolina at home next week. North Carolina and Syracuse at home, and then a road trip to Duke. Are they going to
wait, Syracuse? Wake does.
Wake does.
North Carolina, Syracuse, and who?
And then at Duke.
They'll get one win.
They'll get
We'll
one
be
in there.
okay. We'll cash.
I'll
Cash
say
it.
this: the
Ride it.
The offense doesn't look as crisp. I see Sam Hartman throwing into quadruple coverage.
What's going on though? They were looking really good earlier. Something's different.
Lost a schematic edge.
Something happened.
Yeah,
I noticed it. Something's not
we
right.
got to go study film. We'll get back to you,
I'm
folks.
gonna go down to Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
Talk to some people down there.
Salem witchcraft.
There you go.
Winston-Salem.
Sam
witchcraft.
Hartman's back for his 39th year of college football next year, so we're okay.
Sam Hartman's getting too much head.
I'll take the over next year too.
Yeah.
Hawaii 13, Fresno State 55. Patty C. Timmy Chang's got the program rolling.
I'm gonna say you sold me on a bucket of chicken on that one. We all took Hawaii on that one. Obviously, that didn't hit.
28 points. San Jose State 28, Colorado State 16. Got the cover with the Rams.
Nicely done.
Cal actually only lost by 6 to USC. Petty C. 41-35.
USC also counterfeit.
You might be right about this. This is a 22-point spread or something, right?
USC continually. Now, granted, like we
Cal's
said,
so fucking stupid. They didn't do that right before the half. They probably would have won this game. I don't know. They scored 21 in the fourth. I'm sure they would. They were shit. Like they're waving the white flag a little bit, but Jack Plummer threw for over 400 yards on USC.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we just gave the Pac-12 a lot of credit, and you have to give USC credit for that.
I mean, they very well could be undefeated right now.
Yeah, if they probably should have beaten Utah, maybe.
There was a horrible roughing the passer on Cameron Rising on an interception in the end zone in the second quarter of that game.
Yeah,
where it extended the drive and Utah scored. So look, I took Utah. I thought the refs were definitely fucking with USC too. Like the obviously the clock situation with like 30 seconds left.
Oh yeah, and they put the
refs called a timeout.
Yeah, in the middle of the play, right?
I don't know.
They're still they beat Fresno considerably. They beat Oregon State. They beat Arizona State. Wazoo's pretty good. And then I mean they don't have any super impressive wins though.
Yeah.
So pretty big question mark USC still.
But neither is Michigan.
True.
But I mean Michigan's undefeated, I guess.
But they're both shoo-ins for a 14 playoff, right? Because why? They have big names.
Yeah, because O.J. Simpson won a Heisman Trophy and slaughtered a bunch of people.
Right.
All right, folks, and that concludes it. Patty C. Next week, we got some games next week, dude. I don't know. We'll get into it on Wednesday. Subscribe to the College Football Experience. Remember, tomorrow night, me, Ryan McIntyre, the College Basketball Experience will be rolling Monday all day. Starting at 9 a.m. on the Pacific. Mississippi Valley State and Baylor going at it all the way until nighttime. You mix that with Monday Night Football. What? I mean, this is fantastic. Then Tuesday, we got Maction in college basketball. My East Carolina Pirates take on Mercer. That's a game everyone should be watching. Then on Wednesday, you got Maction again, college basketball. It's just the greatest time of year right now.
And then we got World Cup coming up.
I'm saying East Carolina's going to win the World Cup, dude. Right?
Be the most lit fans. East Carolina fans would be, soccer hooligans.
That's true. We would.
Yeah.
We would.
I
got a feeling like if they put ECU fans
in the Premier League,
yeah,
you guys
there's a high chance. Like there's a high chance that we still might murder a kicker if we miss out on the AAC championship, just like they did with that Colombian goalie.
Sure,
remember that?
Par for the course down in Columbia. It's,
same
on the verge of happening.
G Vegas. Going to Sup Dogs. You might find yourself not coming out. All right. Talking to you, special teams coach, East Carolina. Talking to you, kickers at East Carolina. All right, folks. Give Patty C a follow on Twitter, Patty C831. Give me a follow at the Colby D. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. NC Nicks on Twitter at NC__NICK. Subscribe to the College Football Experience. Subscribe to the College Basketball Experience. We come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience. Also, check out the College Baseball Experience with Noah Beanick. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. And I cannot wait to talk college football with you next week. All right? Next week. Let's go. Patty C. I mean, is TCU going to be the next team to fall? Who do you think is going to be the next team to fall? The next undefeated?
Texas hosting TCU is a dangerous spot. I mean, who's left? Let me take a real quick look at that.
Take a quick look.
A quick gander here. Undefeated remaining teams if fucking the internet would cooperate here. We got Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. I think that's it. So I guess you would have to say TCU, assuming they lose.
I don't know. Georgia's going to Starkville, buddy.
Could be.
You just think Starkville is just no. You just can't. It's not a lit environment. You're crazy. All right.
It's true. I think Ohio State. Hey, there it is. Ohio State and Michigan both probably cruise into Thanksgiving weekend.
Sorry, dude.
Get them all hyped up over him.
So you're saying TCU? That's your pick.
TCU will take the next L. Yep.
All right, folks. This is the College Football Experience Week 10 reaction show. We'll be there. Database Top 25 Monday. All those college basketball episodes, and Wednesday's pick show. We'll also have a DFS show throughout the week. So check us out. Until then, let it ride, people.
Ride and shoot. We can really ride and shoot. And the whole team's looking and the whole world's looking with the cameras. Ride and shoot. We can really ride and shoot. And you know what you're getting.